Welcome everyone to the third and final Open Qualifiers of this BrawlMSTRS Fall season. Excited to see who is going to be qualifying at the end of those 3 weeks and who is not, obviously. Trav is going to be joining me here as well. Trav, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, always thrilled. Looking forward to the Thursdays every day of the week. I mean, we don't get to do much casting at this time of the year, so it's always nice to come back.
Yeah, it makes us appreciate even more than usual those great moments that BrawlMSTRS bring to us on screen. I mean, a lot of interesting stuff happening right now as well, right? Balance changes coming true. Meg is also going to be playable starting today. So all those extra factors to take into account, and I honestly just can't wait to see the teams perform and, you know, what is meta, what is not. It's the first tournament I cast since the balance changes, so looking forward to that. Let's give a look at the format for this season of BrawlMSTRS. 3 open qualifiers. This is the third and final one. 64 teams, best of 3s all around. The iconic draft mode from BrawlMSTRS as well. We'll get into that a bit later. But top 8 is going to be gaining some points and some of that prize pool as well at the end of the 3 weeks. So at the end of today, we'll be seeing which teams qualify for the playoffs. That is going to be the top 3 in points. But there's also an extra 4th and final playoff spot available in the last chance qualifiers. Once again, another single elimination bracket, the same system, but no prize pool this time around. Talking about prize pool, we got plenty of that. 1K for first place, $750 for second place, and third and fourth place are $200 here in the qualifiers. Playoffs, you can pretty much double that at $2,000 in first place, $1,200 in second, and then $600 in third, $200 in fourth. There's a lot of money on the line this season for both the EU and NA region. NA is going to be tomorrow as well. You guys want to make sure you don't mess that. Let's go check out the draft system as well. And Trav, why don't you run us through the format?
Yeah, so first of all, here we start over in the mode ban section, where Bounty in this explanation has been banned out, and then it goes to the other team who are going to be banning Siege, and they also do one more ban on top of that, so Gem Grab will also be banned out by the blue team. Back to the red team for the first selection of their mode, and obviously we come with a pre-selected map per mode each week, so in this, Hot Zone is selected, then Knockout after that, and then the 1 remaining game mode out of the 6 left after that. And then we go to the ABBA ban format, which is the third and final stage before we get into the games.
Beautiful explanation, Trav. I could not have done it better. The map that we will be seeing for each mode for Gem Grab, it's going to be Minecart Madness, Pro Bowl, Backyard Bowl, Bounty on Shooting Star, Heist, it's Hot Potato, Hot Zone Split, and last but not least, Siege, Nuts, and Bolts. The maps rotate for each mode every week, and this is obviously then the third rotation of this season. It's going to be a little bit different for the playoffs. We'll get to that in due time, but this is going to lead us already to our first match, Trav. Old Schools versus Pharmacy Senders. 2 teams that we know a little bit about, but it's not exactly like, you know, they've been dominating the tier 1 just yet. So Old Schools, you said, were Science, Sumzar, I forgot their third, but some pretty OG members in the Brawl Stars community, but usually around the tier 2 scene, whereas Pharmacy Senders, they've had their ups and downs in the EECA monthly finals, but have kind of also yet to really make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can never be too sure who's on the Pharmacy Senders roster. It seems like they pass the torch of that name near enough week in, week out. Here, though, we do have the draft coming in from these 2 teams, and it kicks off with Old Schools banning out the first 2 game modes. That is going to be Gem Grab and Heist, and then Pharmacy Senders are going to top off the bans with a little Hot Zone. Shooting Star is going to be the first map played, followed by a bit of Nuts and Bolts and Siege, and still, I guess it's Backyard Bowl on the Brawl Ball there, it does say it, followed by the bans of Sprout, Leon, Ash, and Meg.
All right, interesting. I mean, Sprout has been in a viable place, I feel, for the longest time. Is it ban worthy? I'm not sure, but it is one of those brawlers that we've seen getting banned just once in a while, you know, because there are teams that honestly even ban it systematically because they just hate facing it and don't plan on using it at all. The Leon ban is quite an interesting one as well, since he got nerfed very recently too. And I feel like it's a pretty sizable nerf. I don't know if he's like out of the meta just yet, but it's interesting to see those two bans coming through from old schools, whereas Ashe and Meg are probably in a very good place right now. So I feel like I am a little bit more in line with those bans from Pharmacy Senders.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had much of a chance to see how the balance changes have affected Ashe, but we're not going to this one either. We get straight into the games, and this is something you don't see too often, a bit of variation of comp on this map from Pharmacy Senders. I'm not sure if the balance changes hit that hard to suddenly spring in another meta, but a really good start overall for old schools here. They did fail to pick up that, they did fail to pick up the blue star, but they got the kill resulting in it. We've got a bit of a heal comp coming out from Pharmacy Senders, who are definitely putting on the pressure to start off with, and that's going to be the position they really want to be in.
And a nice lead early on here for old schools, but positioning wise it could get very dangerous here. That's the kill that Pharmacy Senders need, giving them the lead. A nice 3-star lead, in fact, make it 6 as they pick up yet another kill. 8 now. Oh my goodness, Pharmacy Senders kicking things off very violently here against old schools.
Yeah, I mean, I saw there, I was a little bit worried about the Poco's life, who is a huge participant into the amount of stars they've got here. He's just kind of neglecting to heal and just waiting for his teammates. A big Pam turret coming in with Mama Squeeze, and they're all very, very low. You see Lara coming in, trying to pick them all up, and he does just that. 18-2 now, and how this game has flipped on its head, starting off with an old school's leading, is completely changed as they do eventually start to pinch in, and once more it's going to be some more of the same story.
Yeah, there's just too much sustainability in that come from Pharmacy Senders. There's just no way for old schools to find those eliminations. They can just get that team wipe and wait for respawns, be full HP right after. The Piper is not going to deal nearly any damage since close up it's pretty worthless. And yeah, something like a Nani this close, once in a while you're going to be hitting those 3k shots, but when you don't, it's pretty much just instant death.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, a few balance changes ago, you kind of had the thing where you only had one ammo coming out of spawn as well, and with Piper and Tick at close range, they can near enough just stand in the spawn and have no damage coming at them whatsoever. And I believe they just finished that game off with 42 stars, which is definitely the start they were probably looking for, and Pharmacy Senders are in a very good position going on from that.
Yeah, I mean, Pharmacy Senders looks like they want to send old schools home rather quickly here. That was one dominant start. I mean, obviously, you know, here you can't help but look at the comps and feel like old schools just didn't have too much of a chance. I think it's those situations where I think they could still have won with their comp, but they just couldn't give them any of that mid control. You know, they need to find a kill quite early on and try to always have enough space. Once you're spawn trapped, there's just no way out, pretty much. At least I don't see the way out with a comp like that. So they're going to have to rethink and reconsider what they want to go for next. It's a bit of a tough one because, you know, the brawlers they picked as well are some of the most skilled brawlers in the game and really, really hard to play. You need to hit your shots. Otherwise, you don't even stand a chance. And that comes from Pharmacy Senders. It's pretty much just push forward, get healed, and get kills.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can kind of see the balance changes coming in instantly because we probably would have usually seen a Brock there to break up the mid and be able to take the Tick quite well, but obviously he did get quite a hefty nerf in that projectile speed by, I believe it was like around 11%, which obviously has hit him extremely hard, so no more of the breaking up the map, and that probably is why the Poco and BB can thrive even more. And you've got to think, especially because he's not using the speed star power, he's not going to be juking those shots. The Poco and Pam are just going to be healing him all the way through, and that's why it synergizes so well in that comp.
Oh, I think Trav is... Oh, Trav is back.
I'm back. Well, where was I up to? Where was I up to in speaking?
I'm not entirely sure, but it was a very, very fortunate timing. I loved it, man. You were like just talking, and in the middle of your word, you just completely froze. It was a beautiful facial expression. It really was.
Yeah, well, pretty much this is basically what I was saying. They're probably not going to go the same, but if they do, it could cost them, because you see the comp that old schools have brought out here is probably a bit of a counter comp considering they've got the beak. It doesn't seem to be doing too well so far, though, as they're already at a 7-star deficit.
Yeah, it's not starting off great, is it? For Old Skulls. Pharmacy Senders, though, very happy with the start. 13 stars in their favor. Finally a kill here from Old Skulls, but they have a lot of catching up to do. Now, this is a moment where they could actually capitalize. They're going to make it a team wipe. They're only 2 stars behind, and honestly, we got a game in our hands.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the positioning now as well, and that's pretty much all that matters with this comp. You don't want to be in the spawn where you're not going to have those reloads. You've got the nanny head being thrown out too to open up this map, just that small amount more, and now if we can get a mark from Sumsar and a few shots from Armel, then it can go downhill very, very fast for Pharmacy Senders, and you can see their positioning's starting to crumble as well.
Yeah, a lot of value of that bell shot, bouncing a total of 2 or 3 times there. That's some nice extra value, but what they need right now is a kill, and a kill they will get. Old Skulls with the blue star in their favor, and therefore the lead for now. Pharmacy Senders not done fighting just yet, but it seems like with the map just a little bit opened up by that 90 super, it made a huge difference in how much control they're able to hold and how much they can slow down that push. Another kill here in favor of Old Skulls, and it looks like they're going to be running away with this one.
Yeah, complete different response to this here, as they are going to take this one quite nicely, and BB's not going to be able to make too much of effect by just running up there, making it 1-1 now, and Pharmacy Senders just did not make the right call staying with that comp, and you can probably see it from a mile off. The Bell B can still kind of keep up with, you know, any comp that is going to be brought out at range, so it's probably not the best idea to bring in the BB again, in my opinion, but I mean, you can never know. You're always going to be throwing out a comp and hoping that you're going to get the counter anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you can never be too sure. I did like Old School's approach. I feel like they went for a comp that can win against this comp we just saw from Pharmacy Senders, but that can also still compete with some more traditional comps. And I think that's a wise approach, you know. I mean, imagine if they went all in on countering this comp and Pharmacy Senders went for something more traditional and got a huge advantage there. It could have been a very dangerous situation. Now, we expected some adjustments from Pharmacy Senders. We got them. They are going full-on traditional here with the Tick, Viper, and Nani, whereas Old Skulls, they kept the same comp. And this is what I mentioned earlier, you know, the versatility of this comp. It can still work against something like this. It's definitely going to put them at a bit of a disadvantage, but it's still playable.
Yeah, we're going to be able to see how well it can really compete now, because it's not looking too good off the start. You're seeing aggression from Pharmacy Senders even when they have the lead. That just kind of shows how confident they are. Johnsky, I want to say, is just going to be trying to peek this left-hand side, get a few peek shots off, but it's just not really going to be happening, and still full control to Pharmacy Senders. You're seeing Sumsar really, really far back. Salavi's going to pick up another kill, but that jump's not going to do him any favors, but Angel Boy comes in with the clutch and takes down the left-hand side, so he can't get the shot off.
5 stars, giving the lead to Pharmacy Senders now. Old Skulls need to regain some control if they want to stand a chance in this game. They're doing so pretty well, but still have a lot of ground to cover. And I think there are still quite a couple of gadgets available for Old Skulls as well. Sorry, for Pharmacy Senders rather, to try to hold on to that defensive stance. The Peep pushing forward as well, looking for a target, not going to find any connections just yet. Amel able to dodge it. And that is going to create a little bit of space for Old Skulls to start pushing forward.
Definitely a bit of a worrying waste of that Nanny Peep here. You see Angel Boy pop his return to sender, which now only lasts for 5 seconds, so it is lucky someone did eventually shoot at him. He's going to fall down, though, and this opens up a world of opportunity for Old Skulls here. They've got them pinched in the right-hand side, so Larvy's very low, and that's all they're going to need. Angel Boy goes forward for the tanks, and the trade's there, and they're going to be up 8-7, and Old Skulls are going to completely flip this one on its head and take the first set in a huge comeback.
Wow, that was a nice turnaround there from Old Skulls, able to take the set in the end. Honestly, it was a bit of a tough set for them, not gonna lie. I mean, the first game they got completely destroyed. Second game looked like it was gonna be more of the same, but they were able to turn things around. And here in the third one, same story again. They start off with a huge deficit for a long time, and it took the last 20 seconds or so for them to get back in their game. Honestly, beautiful stuff. A little bit of luck maybe involved as well, but they took risks and they paid off, and that's how it goes sometimes. Siege is going to be next, and now it's going to be time to see that answer from Pharmacy Senders, and that's the interesting bit as well, right? Because Pharmacy Senders picked Bounty, so now we have 2 modes that were picked by old schools. I mean, they could have a nice matchup ahead of them.
Yeah, a bit worrying from Pharmacy Senders now. Nuts and Bolts coming up next, I do believe, which is probably where that Sprout ban will come into play the most out of any of these 3 maps. So looking forward to seeing what they're going to be bringing out. We've been seeing quite a lot of buzz recently on this Siege meta, along with the possibility of Mortis coming in too if they do go for that throw approach. But with Sprout out, that makes it kind of shortens it off a little bit. We've also seen quite a bit of the breakup comps with the Griff, the B coming in, so you can pair the Griff gadget with the B shots. It's a really nice pairing too. So I think there's, you know, one or 2 comps that are the variations that people can go here. It's just whether or not they're going to get their matchups right and be able to pull this one back to force it to go to Backyard Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of possibilities as well, perhaps for some tankier brawlers as well. I mean, in general, in Siege, they can do pretty well. You know, just being able to survive for a long time can help you reach those bolts and bring them back to safety. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I love those, you know, a couple days after update kind of events, because you really see the teams adjusting to the balance changes, and sometimes even just adjusting in the middle of the tournament, saying, okay, this isn't as viable as before, and all that kind of stuff. We do have the Frank coming in. Interesting decision here. I quite like it with the Colt and B. I feel like the destruction capabilities are really strong, but early on, seems like it's going to be old schools shining once more, as they do tie up that first bot, but they had quite a couple of extra kills and were able to get some nice control. Are going to be losing a couple of players, and that might actually put them in a bit of a troublesome situation.
Yeah, full control to Pharmacy Senders. Now, I'm a little bit surprised it's the Colt coming out and not the Griff, as I had previously mentioned. Lara, though, over this round side, who has quite a bit of a resemblance to a certain player we know, and is a bit confusing to see his name, but does manage to pick that side up. 20 seconds left in this push. They've still got a lot of time to come back, but with Armel falling and Sumsar kind of just what seems to be suiciding for this Bolt here is going to be helping out the smallest amount, as Pharmacy Sender's still going to maintain all the control. Just to note, though, Lara is going to be using that noise cancellation gadget, which is a bit unusual after those balance changes came out.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, you know. I thought, yeah, Frank makes sense. He had some pretty good buffs and stuff, but on the other hand, he's not really utilizing any of those. Seems to be still working out just about fine for them. That bot, that could be a 1-push, honestly. It's looking a whole lot like it. That stun is gonna be deadly, and surely they'll finish this one out. Pharmacy Senders with a very strong answer to Old Schools taking their set. I mean, that was a statement.
Definitely so. It's a very, very strong comeback from Pharmacy Senders after dropping that first set, which they probably shouldn't have dropped end of, considering that last comp they did have with the advantage. But overall, I mean, they've come back fighting, and that's exactly what they need to be doing. I will say it's definitely a bit unusual to not see the Frank utilizing those buffs that he did get, as he had previously mentioned during the game. But regardless, it worked just as well as it could have done. I mean, I'd have liked to see the Griff over the Colt, to be honest. It does give that wider spread of break. And I feel like it does thrive a bit better, easier to hit your shots as well. But, I mean, you can't fault it. If it's worked, and that's exactly what it has done for Pharmacy Senders. They're really, really trying to show their worth and try to get to this backyard bowl set, because, I mean, they've got to force it to that at this point, otherwise they're going to be going out relatively early on into this tournament and not securing any points.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if either teams are really still eligible to even qualify for the playoffs through the open qualifiers, right? But the prize pool is already enough of a motivation every single qualifier. I mean, it's quite significant, and for some of those tier 2 teams, it can be a huge boost in their monthly income. So definitely looking to get as far as they can. And right now, while they're standing in each other's way, Pharmacy Senders looking really good in that first game of Siege. Even in that game, the first preparation phase, it was 2 kills in favor of Old Schools and only the 1 on Pharmacy Senders, but they were able to tie up the first bot, and afterwards, I mean, a nice team wipe turned things around completely. Some interesting changes here. The same come from Pharmacy Senders, but Old Schools bringing in some different picks. It seems like it's working out pretty well so far, and they should be able to secure the first bot off it.
Armel's going to really eat that super, though, I will say, through that live plant, and it really didn't do him too many favors, considering he did just get absolutely beamed through it. Johnsky does have his super on that left-hand side, so that can probably do quite a lot of work, especially if he jumps on someone like Angel Boy. He does get taken down and forces the super out as well. They're not going to be committing for this push at all. However, they do need to keep a lot of control, which is probably going to be a bit more difficult with this Edgar.
Yeah, right now things are looking pretty good for Old Schools early on. The stun from Sumser does not connect. Does take a little bit of damage from Celabi, mostly just going to be resetting the healer. That Stumzar in a tough position there, ends up going down. A lot of bolts in the center area, and they're all going to Pharmacy Senders. 5 banked already for Old Schools. Is there enough time for Pharmacy Senders to tie things up? I'm not sure. I don't think they can, but honestly, it might still be in their advantage, as they are going to have a pretty healthy bolt economy getting into the third preparation phase. The question is, how good is their defense going to be right now?
You'd imagine it should be quite good with a Colt respawn and a Frank super, but that is also going to be forcing out those supers, which they really don't want to be doing at this point in the game when they know they've got to push out. A 6-bolt lead is very, very good, but it's definitely not securing in the game just yet. You can see Angel Boy pushing out this left-hand side alongside Lara, but I mean, Sumsar was doing an amazing job of juking, but seems to be not good enough just yet, as now it looks like they may be picking up 3 kills if the pinch does pay off on Armel, and they should secure this last push. However, they're still going to deal 21%. But, you know, you're looking at the brawlers they've got that Colt, they've got the B, and they can do the damage from a long range, and they should be able to secure the second set here.
Yeah, especially with a level 10 bot, it's not like it's going to get melted down in a matter of a couple of seconds. A decent defensive comp from Old Schools, but I don't think good enough. Here we go, and that's already enough. That was rather quickly. Pharmacy Senders picking up this second set and forcing things to backyard bowl against Old Schools.
Yeah, we'll say Backyard Bowl coming up next. Quite a lot of people don't really like this map in competitive at the moment. It is a bit of a stale meta, but I will say Leon is out the mix, which kind of takes the passive element out of it, alongside Sprout as well, if you think about it, to be able to stand behind those walls. So we don't have the Lollipop drop, we don't have the Sprout, so maybe an aggressive meta will come out, and I'd like to see something like the Mortis, and regardless of the nerf that he did get to the Creepy Harvest, I don't think it's going to affect him too much, so I'm still waiting to see him in this one. I'm not going mad on he isn't banned, right? I'm just thinking of that now. I don't think
he's not banned. No, he's not.
I'd like to see something quite aggressive coming out.
I believe it was Ash, Mag, Sprout, and we mentioned the last one a couple of seconds ago as well, but I don't remember. But Mortis was not banned. And Leon, you said it. I was thinking already, you know. You mentioned it. I knew, but didn't remember the name. But yeah. Backyard Bowl, as you mentioned, it is one of the more passive maps in the game in general, because you usually put yourself at a disadvantage if you're the one pushing first. Unless you have a lot of supers and gadgets to support that push, it's really dangerous because you're the one, you know, exposing yourself, and you're basically the one running into other people's shots. And that's definitely not a position you want to be in. We'll see what they decide to go for. Looking forward to it. Maybe a bit more of a traditional meta or not. Seems like it's a little bit all over the place. We'll be seeing Byron double tank here on the side of Old Schools. And it pays off for Leon was a nice kill, but does get traded off rather quickly as Pharmacy Senders. They do have that B, they do have that Crow, and they can do a lot of work against those healers and against those tanks.
Yeah, this comp's looking a bit dirty, I think. Old Schools really aren't in the best position. They've got the B, they've got the Spike, and they've got the Crow against them. It's not a good position for them to be in there, just waiting out as well. They need to be going on the aggressive and getting these early goals, because in overtime, they're really not going to be doing too well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they need to try to force things in as soon as possible. We'll have to see how those pulls. Oh, nice jump there from Lara. Is going to stay alive. Ahmel goes down, and this is a big opportunity for Pharmacy Sanders to score. The trick shot pass, yup, it's gonna go in, and Pharmacy Sanders kick things off with the first goal already.
It almost didn't, though. That's the thing. It was definitely a bit of a risky play to pass that one. I feel like a nice little slot in would have done the job regardless, but a lovely gadget in from Jonski there. Doesn't secure it, and Lara jumping forward once more. He is the one making the plays, making it happen. Can't get it in just yet as Armel has come out the spawn, and as you can see, he is going to be using that power grab star power in this one. Has clearly been doing some listening to the stream. I mean, it's just not... They're not in a good position whatsoever. Jonski's got his super, but he can't do anything with it because he's so low. Super available from Solavi now as well, and that Honey Molasses down with a jump in from Lara should secure this game in their favor and put them on match point.
All right, good stuff from Pharmacy Sanders, and this is something I've seen so many times, and obviously, whenever you go either Poker double tanks or Byron and tanks, it is a risk, right? And they're aware of it. They're aware that they can get hard countered. But a problem I have with playing this sort of playstyle on a backyard bowl is that the brawlers that are going to counter you are a part of the most meta brawlers on the map in the first place. You expect to see Spike on backyard bowl. You expect to see even Crow or B. It's not like a big surprise. And even if they might not be the most meta, they're still really, like, they're absolutely viable against anything pretty much right now on the map. So going for something that gets countered by that as a risky comp just doesn't seem like the smartest risk, unless, you know, you did your homework and you know exactly what they're going to be playing and you're able to counter them. I feel like it's a risk that they did not need to take, or if they wanted to take a risk, they should have approached things differently, because that was just not it.
Yeah, it kind of seems like Pharmacy Senders have just got them. They've just got their number at this point. Every comp seems to be on point. They're bringing out the Spike, Bell, and Crow, swapping out that B from the previous game, taking something a bit more versatile. And we've got Old School's going for that Byron and 8-bit comp. You know, the norm of quite a lot of the maps in the competitive map pool at this point, but we haven't seen it in quite a while, and I feel that's because that Bell does do such a good job of bouncing off the turret and also the opposing players when it is in play.
All right, a nice start this time around from Old Skulls. Have a lot of control and looking to get closer and closer towards that goal area. A nice super from Ahmel is going to be covering a lot of ground, blocking over those rotations. But so far, they haven't really been able to capitalize just yet. They need to find an opening to even consider starting a real push there.
Seems like this might be it, and getting out of the spawn is going to be their main goal. Jonski going to go down some, so I can't provide enough heals to tank through all three of the opposing team. The Raj still getting hit by this curveball over and over again, and eventually getting the hang of juking it now as he does eventually try to get up the map a little bit more. Very, very, very aggressive and you know, optimistic jump, I will say. Does get out of it unscathed, though, as now they are able to get a bit of control. That's Solavi now in a bit of a tough position to get out of, but a good pinch from Lara will allow him to stay up just that little bit longer. Jonski's not going to allow him to sit there for much longer, though, as the takedown does eventually come in. And still back to a stalemate in mid now. If Lara can stay up, they still have a good amount of pressure.
All right. Things setting up nicely here for Old Skulls with that damage booster in place. Maybe not for that long, actually. Ends up going down. Jump in from Lara is able to take down Jonski rather quickly. And now we have the push from Pharmacy Senders. A scary one here, and it goes true. Pharmacy Senders with the goal advantage. Only 15 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like Old Skulls might be approaching the end of their run here in this Open Qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, only 7 seconds left. It's impossible for them to do it now, and they will be taken down in the round of 16 by Pharmacy Senders. I will say well-deserved by Pharmacy Senders in a huge comeback. Probably should have done it within 2 if they'd have secured that initial bounty game that we did see. But overall, a really good performance from them, and I'm looking forward to see how they progress through this bracket. They should obviously be facing tougher and tougher teams as it goes forward, and how close this was, I'm not sure how they're going to progress through it, but honestly, I'm hoping they do.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think they had a good performance here against old schools, but there were a lot of mistakes and points for improvement, which is also why those teams play in the tournaments. They want to get better. And right now, I mean, they were able to overcome this challenge, but the next ones might be just a little bit tougher. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it was a fun match to start, right? We had a 3-set match, which honestly in the round of 16 does tend to be pretty rare, but let's go check out the bracket, see how things are going on the other side of the tournament. So far, we have Tribe already in the quarterfinals. Pharmacy Centers, we just watched them right now as well, so not too many results just yet. We're waiting for 2 teams to even join the round of 16, but a couple of the matches we can expect in here so far, while Big Clan against Old Stars should be going as well. Esports Empire versus FA Frutas, I think, is a pretty decent one too, and even FA Verified against Havoc is not that bad of a match.
I was going to say, yeah, you're failing to mention the one that I think is probably going to be the best, Reply Totem versus FA Tornado. I believe that team is built up of KC, Boss, and FK, I think it is.
Okay,
who
interesting.
are going to be on that team. So I think that could be probably quite a good match if you know, they're able to come back to their old ways. I know KC hasn't played in a while, so if he gets off the rust a little bit and gets down to where he could really play, then they can definitely give Reply Totem a run for their money.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, I looked at the match and I was there like, I don't know FA Tornado, and I don't Reply Totem, so it's probably going to be a sweep. But we will see FA Frutas versus Esport Empire, and honestly, I think it's a decently matched matchup here. Honestly, I think that Frutas have had their ups and downs this year, but so did Esport Empire, and I feel like we can... Like, I would not be comfortable going for a prediction in a matchup like this. I feel like it could absolutely go either way. But then again, maybe you know better, Trav. What do you think about those teams? I mean, you might know them better than I do.
I'm probably thinking very, very similar to you, to be honest. So they've both got fairly recognizable team names. Some may not know the players overall, but they're very much in the same boat at the moment in terms of how well they've done this year. Fairly similar achievements in, you know, BSC, not really making any monthly finals, but still performing decently well in the qualifiers, putting up a good run against some of the really good teams. But regardless of that, the draft is in, and the first game mode we're going to be seeing is Minecart Madness, followed by Shooting Star, and then Backyard Bowl once more. Towards the end of this match. Bans are going to be Poco and Byron from FA Frutas, and Meg and Ash from Esport Empire.
All right, seems like FA Frutas just don't want anyone to heal up. I think they made it quite clear. I think overall the bans are quite decent across the board. That's the thing as well, you know. I feel like sometimes teams ban like Poco because they really are scared of facing Poco double tank, and then they end up facing Byron double tank, and the result is just the same. So I'm all right with them banning 2 healers there. I think Ash and Meg are in a sweet spot right now, so it makes sense to get them out of the way as well. So overall, I'm happy with those bans. I think they cover a lot of ground. Obviously, you know, there's still some of those questions we had as well regarding Leon, for example, how viable it is right now since the Lollipop drop nerf and some of those brawlers. So we'll see how it comes through. But getting both Poco and Byron out of the way, I feel like that pretty much automatically bans pretty much any tanks from this matchup.
Yeah, I'll say with these maps, I think the meta is kind of going to present itself as quite a long-range one at that. Minecart Madness, to start things off, you usually see the long-range brawlers, you get the Crows in there, the Pipers, stuff like that. Occasionally you see a Sprout in mid, but I think that's kind of a couple of metas ago maybe. Followed by Shooting Star, which I'm really intrigued to see if Leon is still going to be viable at all on that map. Backyard Bowler, I think we probably will see Leon, because you don't usually wait in the back of the map long enough for that Lollipop drop, usually to go down regardless, so I still think it'll have its fair share of effect on that one. But overall, I mean, I was expecting to see some longer range bans when I was looking at those maps going through. I mean, I haven't seen how good Meg is at the moment, so it's difficult to say, because obviously it hasn't been in competitive that long. I believe in ESL it was played throughout this week, and it was played a fair bit, but I'm just not sure how she'd really fare on those maps, even if she wasn't playing.
Yeah, she's still a bit in a mysterious place, I feel like, you know, because there are moments where I've seen it, for example, being banned for like the entire day, and then the next day it's not banned in the match, and it's not even played a single time either, you know? So it's still a bit of a curious one. Looking forward to seeing it maybe in action at some point today. But I couldn't agree more with you, honestly, about your introduction to this match. Mostly long range. We'll see if they go for anything. Maybe some medium range brawlers like a Sandy on Minecart Madness could still do its fair share of damage. But it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup here, as yeah, pretty much all the tanky options are going to be gone. No healers to support them, just makes it really hard to play them. As well as Ash out of the way as well. It's a brawler that I feel like is in a pretty sweet spot right now as well. Meg, as you said, we're not too sure, you know, and I kind of want to find out, and if it's banned, then we can't, or we can only assume it's strong. But yeah, looking forward to this matchup. I think it's two great teams that have a lot more still to achieve than they already have, but tournaments like this are the opportunity for them to shine and really show their worth.
Yeah, I mean, only one team could come out on top of this. One team will be knocked out in the round of 16. I believe both of these don't really have a shot at playoffs through the 3 open qualifiers, at least, because this is clearly the last one, and they're not on the leaderboard to the best of my knowledge. So they're definitely just fighting for a bit of that prize pool, as we have mentioned with the 2 last teams. And hopefully we'll see them returning next week, whoever does lose and whoever wins as well, I guess, considering they're not going to be too high up in the standings for their last chance qualifier, where they will still have a chance of getting to the playoffs and getting to where the big money lies. However, as we have mentioned for this match, we'll be starting off with that Minecart Madness. And honestly, I mean, I think the meta is going to be the same as it has been throughout near enough the past 4 metas or something, where you just see the Pipers, the occasional Byron. The 8-bit's also quite good, but I mean, I'm really not sure what to pair with that kind of thing. You usually go for a Crow to stop the healing, but there's no healing.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's definitely going to be turning the meta around. I mean, you could still see some Pam, I assume, on Minecart Madness. Even on Shooting Star, we, you know, see the Pam coming once in a while. Backable, possibly too. So there is that potential, but I feel like it might be just not quite enough to justify picking Crow, because I think one of the big aspects that I love the most about Crow is that the anti-heal. I feel like it's so good, and it can just add that extra touch of versatility to your team. So not having too many healers in place might limit how much you see some of those brawlers too. But yeah, I'm really curious to see their approach. I mean, Crow can still bring in a lot of value even without the anti-heal coming into play. But I don't know. For me, I feel like there's probably better options, as you mentioned earlier. I think Piper is a great pick. You can even go Bell, honestly, on Minecart Madness too. I think it kind of depends on the playstyle as well. But on the lanes, I do kind of like the idea of bringing in a Sandy or something along those lines. I think that can be really annoying if they have sharpshooters on the other team. But even some throwers could be seen at play here. Yeah, we'll find out. As we said a couple of times already today, new balance changes, well, they're new for us too, so it's always a bit of a challenge for us to try to assume what is going to be meta without having seen too much of those maps yet.
I was going to say, I think we kind of assume that the Brock's probably not going to be played, regardless of it being, you know, like a staple of this map in previous games prior to the balance changes, just because of that. He did get hit very, very hard. The explosion radius is still amazing. Occasionally, he can still shoot through walls if there is someone still on the other side of it because of that, but they've kind of negated that fact by just being able to juke it so easily with that movement, or the projectile speed nerf, should I say. So I'd imagine that's probably out of the mix. You said Sandy as well. I'm probably going to sway away from that just because of the fact that, you know, that they probably are going to try and keep them at a range that a Piper's going to want, that, you know, not a Byron clearly, but, you know, other long-range brawlers, you know, like a Crow would want. It's going to be difficult for us to get it in range, but I'm kind of looking towards a Max, and maybe that could bring a Sandy in if they do go for something really, really aggressive.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent option for sure. I mean, we'll have to figure out, you know, that's the big challenge every time. I'm curious, man. I'm curious. I'm excited to see some of those changes as well. And I mean, obviously, it's also the opportunity for us to, you know, understand the balance changes more, because impacting, like, what the changes on one brawler are going to be impacting so many different interactions as well. which is so much fun to figure out every single season. But yeah, just waiting for the teams to start at this point. Hopefully they get to it soon enough. But I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. We should be getting into action really, really shortly. And then finally, we can see what they decide to bring in for Minecraft Madness. Probably the biggest question mark here. You know, Shooting Star, I still assume we'll see some Piper, you know, some Ticks in action as well. Probably some 92. So not really where we are expecting some huge changes. But here we go. And we do see the Crow coming in on both sides. A Sandy as well, as we mentioned. And then both the Piper and the Bell. It's as if Fruit has listened to my recommendations, but we'll see if it works. As Esports Empire went for the Max as well mid. It's probably I thought of, but I'm never too sure where Max's place is in the meta, since it's I don't know. It's one of the more difficult to predict brawlers, I think, to how strong it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it kind of depends what you surround it with, and you can see they've done it with a Crow and a Sandy here. So I really like the way they've paired it with the Crow, get the slows off, and then obviously the Sandy can come in with the stuns when that speed does eventually get going. Yet to have seen it just yet, and a lovely jump from Jose PG should secure both of them here with that reload speed, and How to Win's also going to pick up the left too, and Kevin sitting with 8 gems over his head right now, full control still in their favor. They're just not going to have much chance of getting out here. They've still got Crow slows to hand, and Jose PG's positioning is absolutely on point.
Yeah, nice jump in coming through from John, and that is going to be countdown starting for Esport Empire. I mean, I said Piper or Bell mid, you know, I didn't say Piper and Bell, and I feel like the Sandy brings in that extra versatility as well. That Super is a great counter of those sharpshooters, and overall just a lot of great value there from Esport Empire in that first game, able to take it home quite convincingly.
Yeah, it was really nice played from there overall. I will say they had control for near enough the whole game, so it's difficult to really root against them at this point, but I've got a feeling maybe Fruit has to make a few amendments to their comp, and they'll be able to come back quite nicely to this. I mean, as much as I was liking the Piper off the start before the match even started, it was definitely put in a bit of a shadow there by the aggressiveness that Esport Empire brought out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I feel like Sandy and Max, I mean, the synergy is great overall. It's always been a great duo, pretty much. I think it works really well here. And I think that Frutas were maybe a little too, like, how can I say it? I think that with the healers out of the way and some of those tankier options just not being viable, I feel like they may have tunnel visioned a little bit too much around playing those sharpshooters, whereas the come from Esport Empire was just a little better rounded overall, and definitely looked much better to me. And I think we went to the wrong place there. That was the training cave, and I think we'll get in game in just a second. Looks like our production got baited, which, from our standpoint, Trav, we've done a lot of monthly qualifier watch parties. We've gotten baited plenty of times in the past. We could not relate more.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes players are just like that. They like to be a bit dirty, don't they? Really, and just mess up the people who are trying to spectate with a little tryout in the training cave. But I mean, you know, sometimes if they press it accidentally, it gives a bit of an insight to what they're going to be playing for their opposing team, and I guess for us as well if he does choose to stay on that. But he has gone for the bait. Oh no, he is going to be playing Spike.
He went Spike. What a surprise!
Baited himself out.
Well, we'll see how that all works out. First blood in favor of FA Frutas. Means some nice early control here. 2 gems were picked up by Esport Empire. Not super significant, but can always make the difference. I love that cheeky bear trap. Those 2 cheeky bear traps, actually, from Andre on the rails of the minecart. You never know, you know? And if the timing is right, that could be a very deadly wombo combo.
Yeah, definitely so. 4-3 though, they haven't got that much of a gem lead considering how many pickups they've had, and I don't think a single member of Frutas has even gone down yet, which is a little bit worrying for Esport Empire. Melny playing the brawler that he did try and bait us with, which I'm surprised they didn't really take into account a little bit more. How to Win now just throwing out a stun, not going to connect. The minecart is just going to be rolling around. Should give them the control they want now, but a couple of connections from John should allow a slow and negate that value of the speed.
Jose going in fast. And so far, it's been looking much better for Frutas as they're getting closer and closer to that countdown. Still have a couple of gems to pick up. Andre gonna finally pick that one up on the left-hand side. Number 9 now in his hands. One more to start the countdown. Jump in from Jose, but a nice cactus from Melny gonna be keeping him away. Does get tapped by the minecart, which is not ideal, and a lot of gems are dropped in the center area. How to win, trying to pick them up, or at least deny access to Frutas, but gem number 10 is picked up, and the countdown starts for FA Frutas.
To say, Kevin did use his speed, well, the last time he went down before this one, and that could have been used so much better just by waiting for them to come out of the spawn. Wrapped up now as Frutas do take this game and even out this first set in Minecraft Madness. Clearly, him baiting on the spike worked, because maybe a bit of reverse psychology was in play there.
Yeah, good stuff there from Frutas. A nice comeback in this set. The question is, can they take it all the way and you know, secure the gem grab sets? I mean, it looked much better on their end. I think their comp was a lot more versatile and was able to deal with a lot more stuff that Esports Empire were throwing at them. Is it, you know, a super convincing win either? I don't think so. I think, you know, it was reasonably close, and some mistakes could have turned things around. But Esports Empire, they're gonna have to maybe reconsider some of those brawler picks. I don't even think they have to. I think they could have won with their comp 100%, but I did feel like FA Frutas comp was just a tad better.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I feel like they definitely had a rough start on the side of Esports Empire when the spike's in play. You know, kind of need to keep your range with the Crow, peek at him from a really long distance and just get those pinch shots onto him, get him slowed down, and then you can take advantage with a pinch from your mid. But it kind of seemed like they just weren't playing it as a team as well as they did in the previous game. That comp, you need to be together. Max speeds, Crow slows, Sandy stuns. It all comes together to form that cohesive unit, which is what wins them the games.
Yeah, no, absolutely so. Absolutely so. We'll have to see. You know, it's gonna be time to maybe question some of those picks on the side of Esports Empire. I mean, I was still fine with their comp, honestly. I think that the execution was just a lot stronger from Frutas this time around. We'll see how they feel about it and what they think is necessary changes-wise. But so far, I mean, it is the closely matched teams that we expected to see in this matchup. So looking forward to some more of that and to find out who takes gem grab at last. Always important, you know, that first set, especially in the best of 3. I feel like it creates so much relief on your side and a lot of extra stress for your opponents. So really important to pick this one up to start things off with some nice momentum in your way.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, whoever wins this first set is definitely going to get a huge momentum boost heading on to Shooting Star, which is kind of why I want to lie down a bit of thought about, you know, what the comps are going to be, whether the Leon's not going to affect it or not. But clearly they're not fancying the Leon on this map, which I'm not sure if it was ever really the kind of pinnacle on this map regardless. But I do want to see the Leon come into play at some point and see how it's affected it in the competitive meta. They're going to be pulling out the Pam, which I know you wanted to see, along with the Piper once more, but the Crow is returning. And we're seeing a bow on the other side, which, regardless of that little glitch that did happen a bit earlier on to the year, hasn't been seen too much.
Yeah, we've been seeing it now and then, but definitely not very consistently. How to win, though? It's going to be dying to the poison there from Melny. A bit unfortunate for him. John just buying a lot of time and creating a big distraction on the right-hand side. It does end up going down, but it created enough space for Frutas to pick up 4 gems early on, which it's definitely a decent start. We'll see if they can keep that up as Esports Empire are all back. We have a Totem coming in there, a bit of an interesting position for it as well. Not sure how much value he could find off that, but the tank is shot, does have his mines placed now as well. But so far, not finding any targets just yet. Kevin goes down, that's the gems from Esports Empire, but John, there's just no way for him to pull out of that position.
Yeah, regardless of him going down there, he'd open up his team a world of opportunity, and he played that immaculately, just taking shots at a few different people at a time, keeping them all low. He is aggressing once more, though, which is definitely what he wants to be doing with that Pam. That's when going to throw down some more mines, but a definite gem lead here for FA Frutas. Should be furthered a little bit as they are very much in spawn on the side of Esport Empire. That mine might cause some difficulties, though, but just gets the pick up in time, and he is going to be a little bit worried about that one.
I want to say that Andre did that on purpose, you know? He knew he wanted to be stunned on purpose so they would overpeak and he would get that snipe. It's not true, by the way. He just didn't pay attention and got hit by the mine. But, you know, I feel like that would be a classy move. That would just be some classy Brawl Stars.
Yeah, I mean, he purposely went on the mine to make sure he could get the shot. It's definitely the kind of excuse someone would make. They're aggressive, though. They're definitely aggressive. They've got the max speed mines up there, but I mean, Kevin just can't do anything. Andrew's got the jump, and FA Frutas are going to be taking this first set, heading on to Shooting Star next. I feel like they may have a certain advantage as well, as they've got a bit of more practice on that Piper.
Yeah, they also just seemed very enthusiastic about those long-range picks, and in Minecart Madness, there is that option of some mid-range action, but here in Bounty on Shooting Star, not really, because, you know, there's just nothing really available for that kind of playstyle right now. So I'm interested. I mean, I feel like a potential way to drift off from that more traditional, you know, Piper Tignani comp is to maybe bring in like something like a Jean and a Pam or something along those lines. That's something we used to see a while back as well, being played here on Shooting Star. Not sure how viable it is right now, but if you want to, you know, move away from those traditional comps, there's just not that many options, at least not options that have been experimented with and that, you know, we've seen results with lately.
Yeah, I mean, the only comp we've actually seen results with is that Poco, Pam, and BB comp, but we've obviously got no Poco this time, which I feel was, you know, a big part of that comp and getting the heals towards them. So definitely not the best situation for them to be in without that Poco in play if they do want to go on the aggressive route, which, because they've been playing Max so much, it kind of seems like that's the route they want to take in comparison to what FA Frutas have been playing. It seems like they're definitely more comfortable on the brawlers that would usually be played here.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what they decide to go for. I mean, I still feel like most likely we're just going to see some of those traditional brawlers that we expect to see on Shooting Star. But I would love to see some innovation coming through here. They definitely have to if they want to drift off from that traditional comp, because honestly, I just can't think of too much stuff. I mean, you mentioned Leon as well, but I'm not sure how viable it's going to be here, because Bounty is one of the slower game modes where you usually could keep your lollipop drops for a very long time, unless you're facing a tick. But even then, you know, if you place it well, you can play enough in the open so he can't get in range. So I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this is going to be working out, as differently to some other games as well. You automatically have the full time going through, right? On Bounty, you're going to be going through those 2 minutes or so, and that means it's a little tougher, as you only have 1 minute of lollipop drops, and losing HP also just means that if you hit it, it's going to get destroyed a lot faster too. But here we go, was a 3-star lead already early on here for FA Frutas, blowing their control as well. And both teams not really taking any risks here, just going to be sticking to the more traditional stuff that we pretty much just expect to see at this point on Shooting Star.
Yeah, definitely sticking with the norm. We've got an early nanny head available, though, for Jose, which is definitely the opposite of what John's done. I'm not sure if he's even hit a shot yet. I mean, the Piper is a little bit low, so clearly he has, but Andrew's not going to be taken down by that. You need to be driving that peep round a little bit longer to get the maximum damage, and he just didn't do that, so then he's still going to be standing, and he's barely got any cycle on it. John, hopefully going to be a different story for him if they want to extend that lead a bit further, which is obviously what they're going to be trying to do.
3 stars still in favor of Frutas and Esports Empire. They want to push forward. Andre taking a lot of damage there, but Melanie finds yet another kill. John takes down How to Win, and now it's only Kevin left alive. Not much he can do in that position besides going down. And FA Frutas, they extended that lead all the way to 9 stars in their favor. Esports Empire have a lot of work to do.
Good position for them to be in on the side of Frutas, but as the control slowly shift to Esport Empire here. They throw out a homemade recipe to the left with the extended ambush damage, and they do manage to pick it up too. Melny's very low, one shot to a nanny. The tanks from the head, but Jose looking like he's going to return to sender. That the tick head comes in as well, and only one kill is going to be separating them now. Still 12 seconds left, got plenty of time to do it. The return to sender once more, and that's going to take Andrew low. The tick is throwing all the mines in the world out. Andrew is pinned in a corner here. They're just not getting the kill yet, and the nanny's too far back to assist it, but the pickup on the right-hand side from How to Win, and Esport Empire are going to turn it on its head.
Man, I feel like Johnson could have just gone to the right instead of peeking that. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It seemed like they got it, but Esport Empire able to steal this one away. I know they're just a single game from tying things up again and moving on to a third and final set. So yeah, I almost want to call it a bit of a throw from Frutas. I mean, it's not easy to dodge Piper shots at that range by any means, but he did have a little bit of cover to work with, and I feel like he definitely overextended rather than staying near the cover, you know? So I think a little bit of a mistake over there. Maybe was focusing a bit on what was happening on the left side as well, wanted to make sure that he didn't get surprised. And that's the thing as well, when you have those very close situations, sometimes you end up also losing track of some of the danger towards you as you want to check out if your teammates are okay, because then that means, you know, if you see that one of your teammates is going to go down, that means that you need to proactively engage and go on the hunt for a kill. And I'm not sure what happened in his head, but result was not what they expected, as Esport Empire were able to turn that one away, that one around rather. But here we go, set point for Esport Empire, and a shot at starting fresh in basketball. Melny very low HP, in danger, but that overextension from How to Win gets punished big time by John.
Yeah, sometimes pinching for your teammates isn't the best thing to do. You want to focus on your own life as well, which is maybe what happened to John in the last game, as you had mentioned as well. Melny very low. It's going to hit that last hurrah, but it still does the damage required, and the takedown is in favor of Esport Empire, who are going to bring the lead back in their favor as well. Take head does get taken down, though, from Frutas, and now they've got not a healthy lead, but they do have the lead. The homemade recipe is returned to sender, and Andrew will be taking that damage back for himself, along with a peep. Can finish him off, but whether or not he's going to be able to hit it, he does. Homemade recipe is popped from How to Win as well, just holding on to it nice and tight.
We'll be connecting to John, and that 3-star lead in favor of Esport Empire. John really gonna find too much value of that gadget, and then we have yet another kill from Kevin, sitting on those 4 stars, and FA Frutas with just that single kill they picked up very early into this game. Esport Empire, it seems like having that early deficit is just not too much of a problem with it for them. They're able to deal with it really nicely every single time. A big kill there from John, as FA Frutas are just a single star behind, but they need an elimination still if they want to take over that lead.
Yeah, still, Piper has used jump now, so hasn't got that exit strategy that he would have had beforehand. Now the Tickhead coming in as well is going to force a shot of How to Win, and he's very low on top of it as well. Shot from Andrew, he can't follow up just yet though. John pinching, and Jose's only one shot. They need the kill onto him. The return sender pops. That goes back to him. Is it going to deal the damage? It is. They jump away and they take the lead. The exact same as what happened in the last one. A slide over extension, and in this time, Frutas come out on top.
Man, he died to the return to sender, right? Towards the end.
Return to sender, yeah.
Yeah, return to sender. That is a bit of a sad way to die. It's the moments where you just know you're dead, you know, for such a long time, because you see your damage going back to him, and you know he has a return to sender. You know for sure that at this level of play, he's gonna be popping it, and there's just nothing you can do. It's not like you can just magically heal up at that point or find cover. It's coming for you, and it definitely took him down. FA Frutas with a match point in their hands now, but it's only going to be that single match point, because Esport Empire, they won the first game of that set, still have a shot at pushing things to Brawl Wall, but they all only need to win this next game now, and this is where the big challenge starts for Esport Empire, as they have their backs against the wall.
I will say that there's no excuse of not knowing he didn't have a gadget anymore, because obviously they've got that little indicator if someone's got gadgets left in the game now, so that can't be an excuse either. Clearly just a bit of a misplay, and I mean, you know, with the return sender only having that 5-second window where you can actually use it now, it might have been better off just waiting out or shooting a different opponent to be able to win that one. But it did happen to them in the previous game as well, and we're seeing a totally different comp from Frutas now. Let's see if it pays off.
All right, Blue Star picked up by Esports Empire really early on, but a trade-off kills in mid. And that is going to be keeping that 1-star lead in favor of Esports Empire. The Blue Star is in the hands of Frutas now. So at least they got that going for them in case we get another trade. And we did see the comp I mentioned earlier to go for the Jean, Pam, and I didn't say a third brawler, but Max is probably the first one that comes to mind with a composition like this, just with the good synergy you can have with Jean. But so far, it's not exactly going as planned. They have a good push going now, but they're not going to be investing more resources into it just yet, as they want to slow things down a little bit, heal up, and get back to the action a little bit later with those supers in their favor to try to find and close that gap a little bit more.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Melny's maybe feeling a little bit too confident. Always seems to be pushing on his own and getting punished for it, and that's where the majority of the stars have come from so far. Regardless, though, they are only 6 stars behind, and with this aggressive comp, the comeback is definitely on the cards here if they compare all these supers together, which is looking like they might be wanting to do that now. Healing station thrown forward, Kevin should fall, but he dashes directly into the the last hurrah, which probably isn't the best call, but John's going to clean up. How to win is there too. Melny should be able to get out, and only 3 stars behind now. They've got the speed. They can wait it out and just play for the long game.
All right, just 3 stars now, and with 12 seconds left, it seems like it's definitely still possible here for Frutas, but it's not going to be easy. Healing station placed forward, but what a 3K tap from afar there from Jose, and that is going to be pushing things to a third and final set as Esports Empire pick up this bounty set at last. All right, we're going all the way here once again, Trav. So far, this round of 16 matches have been an absolute treat as they keep going all the way. Love to see it. Brawl Ball and Basketball is going to be up next. And I'm not sure what to think of this year for those teams. Maybe we can get a quick reminder of the bans as well. I remember the double healers. I think Megan Ashton next to that, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, what do you expect? What kind of comps do you feel like could shine here?
I mean, I still think Bell's going to be incredibly strong in that mid. I'd like to see the Crow come back out as we did see, and I feel like we also saw the Spike as well, which is kind of the same comp as we saw in the previous one. I'm not sure if some bans will affect that because clearly Leon is still in play. I keep on saying I want to see it come out, see how it fares. It might not do well, and I'm not saying it's probably going to do well. It's not a prediction of I think that's going to win, but I just want to see it come out and see how it fares.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a bit of a controversial take, and I would say, because you mentioned Bell, and I feel like I still prefer Piper a little bit, just because of Leon being a little bit less meta. I think I might start to prefer the Piper here on Basketball, because when you think about it, just in a pure 1v1 matchup, I feel like Piper usually has the upper hand against Bell, and Bell, where she really shines, is that extra versatility she has, and you know, whether it's the traps that are great at just covering that goal area and you know, securing that defensive stance, or the constant damage as well, which is just really valuable against, you know, the Leons and even the tankier brawlers, as well as the Mark, also applicable for that. But I feel like here with the Piper, you have the destruction element, which I think can kind of tip the favor in her on her side. I'm saying that not just in general, mostly considering the bans we have here as well, right? I still feel like if Poco and Byron are viable, you might want to go Bell, just, you know, to have a little bit of an extra shot against that. But I feel like in this matchup, Piper could have a decent chance to shine, and a super near that goal area, just removing those walls, can go such a long way. And if on the other side you have a Bell, most of the traps are going to be placed on the sides anyways, which you're not going to be really contesting since you have the goal opened up, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got a good case there. Obviously, I do like the Piper as well. I feel like the Bell's just more versatile. It covers a lot more aspects.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Max come out, though, but then again, I wasn't really a fan of the way that it was played in that previous game. And the Piper is going to be there, but an 8-bit on this side along with a B, probably just trying to be a bit cautious about the tanks. But I'm much more preferring Esport Empire's cockpit.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one here because, I mean, Stu is just a brawler we haven't seen at all today so far. And it's definitely still in the meta, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still playable. It's not nearly as strong as it used to be. But this is a bit of an interesting map to bring him in as well, I feel like. I mean, you don't really have that destruction either since he's playing the movement speed gadget. So, I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here. I don't think he's hit a single shot yet either. So not really utilizing his signature move so far. But he does end up going down. That's a nice double kill for Esport Empire. Turn it into a team wipe. And now how to win is just going to be opening up that wall as I mentioned. And it's just a really troublesome situation. Because now even though the defense is good from Frutas, and even though they're not able to find that goal just yet, it's going to be a nightmare to hold down to that position. There's just not enough cover to work with anymore.
I don't know if we're just going to ignore the Piper jump that he just did. He just jumped directly into 3 people who were invincible. I'm not sure what that was really about. They could have kept control a lot better. But, you know, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Esport Empire now aggressing once more, though, so clearly revived a bit from that. Can't get the ball, and Melny with the clear, the slow, and the shot as well, forcing the jump. And this time he has jumped in the right direction.
I mean, it happens, I guess. It happens. Maybe he just thought I was getting too comfortable with, you know, mentioning the Piper pick and him actually playing it. And he thought, okay, Teddy, slow down. It's not that great. Let me show you why. All right. Well, so far it does still look like Esport Empire have just infinitely more control. Overtime is where things are going to get interesting because then all the map destruction that Esport Empire have worked towards is going to be just matched on both sides. But the jump in here is huge from Kevin. That's the double kill from Esport Empire. There's one getting traded out, but there's no way he can stop both of them there. And Esport Empire, they score a couple of seconds before the end of the countdown. And they really quickly went from facing Frutas that had a match point to getting a match point of their own.
Yeah, I mean, Frutas just didn't look good with that comp. I will say the Stew, it just did absolutely nothing, along with the B as well. I feel like if you're a B, you shouldn't be losing a lane to a Crow. It just shouldn't be happening at the end of the day, especially if you've got a pinch as well. But I mean, overall, it was just that one play. They jumped in, they took the shots, they got the wall broken, probably not in the best way possible, but they eventually did it, and that really did allow them to thrive just that little bit more.
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting decision as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what tanks they were expecting. That's the thing for me, because you could still go triple tank, I guess, but without any healers, I feel like it's really hard to get through that no man's land in the middle area, right? I feel like if you hit your shots with like a Piper or something, you're gonna be dealing still a lot of damage, you know, like 3 shots from that distance, that's 6k damage. That's gonna take down most of the tanks anyways, or get them really low HP at least. So I'm not sure what the plan was there, but we see the Sprout coming in, and I think it's a very smart call as well. There's just not gonna be too much stuff countering that Sprout. We'll see the bells on both sides and the spikes as well. I like those comps quite a bit. I think the potential is definitely there, and my eyes are mostly on that Sprout, as I think it can unlock a lot of those very still situations.
Yeah, a little bit worried for Frutas in the position that they are in. They've been backed all the way up to spawn already, and they're also against the Sprout with a Crow and a Bell and a Spike. You're just not going to be able to do too much. The wall comes in to stop them pushing up the left-hand side. Andrew can't quite get the pinch just yet either. He's going to bring it back to him and throw it back down once more. Melny's now trapped further up the map, and they've got all the control in the world, really. I
love how that blue cactus is just in the middle of those red players. Love to see it. And here we have the goal already there from Esport Empire. Not messing about this game, as now they're just a single goal or a minute away from going through to the quarterfinals and knocking out FA Frutas in a nice reverse sweep. But they haven't crossed the finish line just yet. However, it does seem to be looking more and more likely to be going to an end here for FA Frutas run this season.
Throws the wall down, cuts off the ball, and the bounces around the right-hand side are connecting to John too. Only one more shot required to take him all the way down. Melny's going to throw out a super, which is absolutely lovely as well. Getting a bit of the pressure back, but HowToWin's just now pressuring the left-hand side. He's got the life plant down. He can't jump. It's a 3v1. He gets the jump in, but this is going to be done as a little trick shot comes in. A little bit risky with that wall, I will say. I thought maybe he was going to block the goal off, but he does secure the game, and Esport Empire are going to be coming out on top.
Man, that would have been hilarious though. Like, imagine if that ball just went on the other side of the wall and it's just like he can't even get it himself anymore. But it didn't happen. They were careful enough about that, or lucky enough maybe. But because I'm not sure if they communicated about that ball either. You know, I'm pretty sure it was just there somehow. You know, they thought it was over anyways. But they secured the game, and that sweet reverse sweep as well, as a matter of fact. And Esport Empire was a great performance here. And honestly, you know, I said it at the beginning of the match, this one could absolutely go either way. And it certainly did. It certainly did, and felt like it could. So lovely stuff there. Great way to ramp things up here in the round of 16 with Esport Empire moving on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, really well played from them overall. It's not a result that I would have been expecting. If I was forced to put money on someone, I'd have probably said Frutas. So, I mean, honestly, I'm not too sad about it. They played really well. They deserved the win thoroughly. However, we do have the bracket ready, as the round of 16 should have all finished. We don't have matches lacking behind, so possibly not. And the quarterfinal games are as follows: AC Milan Clash versus Big Clan, FA Tornado, who did take down Reply Totem 2-0. Well, there you go. They're going to be facing off against Tribe Gaming, who is KC's previous team. FA Verified versus Esport Empire on the other side, and Mood Gaming versus Pharmacy Centers.
All right, those sound like some pretty fun matches coming up in the quarterfinals. We'll have a short break before that, and then we'll go check out FA Tornado versus Tribe, as I'm sure Trav is really excited to watch. We'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everyone. We are past our round of 16 matches, moving on to the quarterfinals now, and we got quite an exciting one. All right, ahead of us, FA Tornado versus Tribe Gaming EU. So you mentioned the roster from Tornado was Boss, FK, KC, and who am I forgetting?
I can't remember the last one. I actually can't remember the last person on that roster. It definitely is a 4-person roster, though, so we might not be seeing one of those players.
I'll have it in a second.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, against Tribe Gaming, as we have mentioned. So regardless of that, Alex, there you go. Bit of a storyline regardless. KC used to be on Tribe and trying to, dip his foot back into competitive a bit now. And beating his old team is a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, they beat Reply Totem just earlier, which is already a pretty decent achievement. I mean, we don't exactly know what happened there, but it happened. That's what we do know. Bounty on Shooting Star is where we will be starting here. Pick from Tribe Gaming. Interesting one as well. I mean, I knew they were all right with Shooting Star, but I wouldn't have necessarily expected to be their first choice. Gem Grab on Minecart Madness coming through then right after from FA Tornado, as well as Hot Zone on Split, Ash, and Mag banned by FA Tornado, and then Tribe going for the Max and Stu bans. No huge surprises there. Let's see how it plays out. We have the traditional comps on both sides, so really nothing too unexpected so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play KC on Max either, to be fair. Probably a good idea to get it out of the way. One of his notoriously good brawlers. We do have a bit of a mirror matchup off the start, though. Got the Nanny versus Piper on both of the sides and a Tick versus Tick in mid. So far, FA Tornado definitely on top in terms of stars and control, as Alex did manage to aggress up to this wall, and that opens up both the sides to push up a little bit more as well, as you can see.
Tribe Gaming are going to be the ones to be forced into making a move at some point, as they are behind by that blue star. They've yet to really find any opportunities. Have seized quite a bit of control across the board. Alex gets stabbed very low HP, but is able to survive thanks to his last hurrah. And the Peep pushing forward is going to be dodged by the Piper, but Tom can't quite jump into the air. Oh, Drage just lands into a homemade recipe from KC. Lovely stuff from FA Tornado as they kick things off with a 5-star lead.
Definitely a bit of a questionable jump from Drage. I'm not sure what he was really trying to go for with that. Nanny's very low, though. He pops the return to sender, but regardless if it hit or not, he was going to go down because the return to sender, regardless, though, he does manage to take down KC over the right-hand side with the Peep anyway. Spen getting hit, return to sender directly back onto KC, ambush added onto it as well, so that's some extra damage. Homemade recipe popped by Drage, not connecting as Alex drifts it a bit off course from KC. Good controller and another return to sender from Spen is going to secure it. Boss going to be popping that one back onto him, but Alex is very low as well. Near enough a vertical jump from Drake, so the tank from Spen is there. They are going for the shots now, but the return to sender once more. The trade, 1 star, blue star in favor of FA Tornado, and a jump from KC is going to secure it. And FA Tornado going to take the first game.
Yeah, nice comeback from Tribe, but not quite enough here to take over the lead from FA Tornado, as they are going to be starting things off pretty nicely. I mean, you can beat... What I mean to say is, with the level of play of those guys in FA Tornado, they can beat a top team, and I mean, it's a surprise, it's an upset, but it wouldn't be like storyline of the year either, because those players, they've all played amongst those, tier 1 teams. Where it gets a little more interesting is if they can do it twice in a row. That would be where you start to think like, okay, this team might have some potential. We've seen that with KC and Sabotage as well during the monthly finals, where they kind of came out of nowhere and beat a couple of teams they kind of weren't supposed to be able to beat. So we've seen it happen before with some of those players specifically as well. We'll see if they can do it again here, as they beat Reply Totem in the round of 16. Tribe Gaming is gonna be another challenge for them. We'll see if they can actually take them down as well. So far, they look pretty great in that first game. Definitely doing a lot less mistakes as well than Tribe Gaming. And they were able to seize every opportunity that Tribe gave them. And a lovely homemade recipe from KC. Not going to be enough to give them back the lead as Tribe picked up a kill on Alex.
Yeah, nice little trade from Tribe there. Didn't exactly go in anybody's favor at all because, I mean, it's still a 1 deficit. However, the Blue Star has switched hands into the FA Tornado, and Drage is going to secure another one just to top it off. Boss popping that return to sender. Now he's just going to be waiting a little bit longer. It's going to be popped, and Spen's going to send it right back to him, and that's going to extend it to a 5-star lead.
All right, things seem to be stabilizing a little bit for Tribe as they are starting off pretty well so far. A lot of ammunition used to take down that tick head, which is going to help FA Tornado gain a little bit of extra control. They have a peep available on Boss. They'll be going for it really soon and looking for a target. And there is the connection onto Span. Drage low HP as well, forced to super his way out of there. And look at that, Boss picks up the kill on Tom. Blue Star is on their side, and FA Tornado, they're back in the lead.
Yeah, it looks like that Blue Star is going to go quite a long way. That I did mention at the start. Probably wasn't going to make the biggest difference, but apparently it is. It's going to make Tribe have to push into FA Tornado here, which is definitely a position they don't want to be in, especially on this map. The tick heads are going to collide, which is going to favor Tribe, considering a few shots were already taken onto it. Boss over this left-hand side now is all... I mean, they need to take anybody down at all, but he is going to be the main target, as that's the side that's pushed back quite far. KC now, though, is going to be pushed back relatively far, but the wall's going to assist him in staying up. Tom pushing aggressively now. He does have a last tower remaining. He is going to pop it, but that ticket will take him down anyway. The pinch in as well, but the Drage goes down too. And FA Tornado are going to take this first set.
All right, upset alert potentially for this match as well, as FA Tornado, they 2-0 Tribe on the Shooting Star set. Moving on to Minecart Madness up next. That's going to be another challenge. I mean, this was the map pick from Tribe, actually, so even more interesting considering that. But Tribe traditionally have been really solid in gem grab, so I can definitely see some comeback opportunities over there. But on the other hand, I mean, Tornado, they wanted to play Minecart. They wanted to play Hunt Zone as well, so they're going to be excited to go into that second set, knowing that they already won the first one, being Tribe's pick as well. So a confident start on their end, and despite the games being rather close, and there definitely being opportunities for Tribe to take them away from FA Tornado, they both went the way of FA, and now is the challenge for Tribe to try to find back and try to regain some more of that confidence that we usually know them for.
Yeah, I will say, though, you say, Tribe are confident on gem grab, but, it was on the table for them to pick it first, so clearly more confident on Bounty, and that's just gone completely against them in a 2-0 fashion, so you can't really rule out this sweep here if FA Tornado play as well as they did in that previous one. They are going to, however, have to get some comps right, in addition to playing really well like they had done in that previous set, because you're expecting the mirror in that one. It's going to come down to who plays better as a team, who plays better mechanically, and they clearly did, but now the comps are really going to affect it too, so they've got to get that right as well.
Yeah, this just seems like such an outlier as well. It's just not really the underdog conditions either, when you think about it. Usually underdogs, they win because they bring in some comps that are unexpected and all that sort of stuff. Here, as you mentioned, Shooting Star is all about team play, and it's all about those mirror matchups most of the time. And Tribe, they are known for their team play. That's what every single team says about Tribe. They say the synergy is so great between all the players. They play so well together. I don't know. We'll have to see if it was more of a Tribe struggling, of FA Tornado truly shining, as we move on to Minecart Madness now. And Drage is going to be going down with the gems early on. Tornado looking to capitalize off that. They want to aggress. They want to get as close as they can to those gems and contest that mid area as much as possible. Boss does get punished for it. However, there's the trade on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I was going to say, Boss is playing so well, though. Regardless of him going down, he's able to pick up 2 kills before that. Gem's not going to be in his hand now, though, as Casey did manage to recover 2 of them prior to him going down. But I mean, you know, they're backed up to spawn. Tribe have a really good lead starting to build up if they can stay in this mid. That nest egg, though, I'm pretty sure Drage know there's going to be one lying somewhere in the midst, and clearly being a bit more careful about it. He knows they've got the lead. He's just going to try and pick the ones that spawn on his side.
Boss taking quite a bit of damage there. And Drage doesn't quite connect a shot, and now Tornado able to pick up the lead. Super does connect, but Drage finds KC anyways. Boss, unlike the Piper, cannot really get out of those tricky situations so easily. Drage, oh, I love that play. I love the confidence of going for those gems, jumping out back to safety, and sure, it does give back a lot of control to Tornado, but it pretty much just prevented a countdown as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he was focused on. He might have got marked along the way, which kind of evens out the Bell Piper matchup because he can be two-tapped. Now he is going to fall down to that Byron tickle damage. But now all-out control for FA Tornado as Tribe all fall one by one, drop like flies, 10-7. No chance of a reset from mid just yet, and secured by that one gem spawning on FA Tornado's side as well.
Yeah, that's some beautiful Brawl Stars from FA Tornado. Absolutely beautiful. Minecart is there to seal the deal as FA Tornado hit match point and are just a single game away from taking down Tribe Gaming EU. Okay, interesting. I mean, you know, you can look at a set and then think, okay, maybe it's a bit of an outlier. You know, it happens. The best teams lose games too. Now it's looking a little bit scary because they have 2 match points at hand. And Tribe Gaming, they need to fight both of them out. Whereas Tornado, even here in this gem grab game, where I do think Tribe didn't look awful, Tornado just looked a bit better across the board. And that needs to change if Tribe want to have a chance at seeing the semifinals.
Tribe are going to have a bit of panic in their eyes as well at this point as well. It's not just the fact that they've got they've got 2 match points against them in a row. They're going to be panicking. They can't be losing a game like this, especially when they need to be securing points. I think they only got to a quarterfinals once, and this one got knocked out prior to that last week by FA Frutas, who we did just see get knocked out as well. So, I mean, they're not looking the best. They're going to have to return for the last chance qualifier no matter what, I think. But they don't want to be falling to FA Tornado, who have literally been grouped together to play in this tournament. The level of synergy and the level that they've shown all year, they just wouldn't be happy about going out this early.
Yeah, it's just not really something we'd expect, you know. And I mean, they've had a good enough year and even qualifier season here for this fall season to be just fine. I'm pretty sure they have some good chances of qualifying for the playoffs, even if they were to drop this early on, just because they got a first place and a second place in the 2 previous qualifiers. So they are still in a pretty sweet spot, but it's definitely not as confident as if they can get a really good performance here. It does seem like this game is starting off a little bit better on their side. Drage not being able to pick up that gem is a bit of a shame. He does get tagged actually by the slow of the crow, and it almost cost him his life. Won't quite just yet, but it is going to be relieving a little bit of that pressure as Boss is trying to fight for those gems mid, is going to miss the mark, get stacked very low HP, and now Drage has a lot of space to work with.
Dropping some nest eggs of his own this time. That was really what cost them in the previous one. Couldn't aggress high enough up to the gem spawn to grab the ones on the other side, so it just started to build back up. 3 lane on the floor for Boss to just take here, and the minecart's going to assist them in a nice little push-up too. Almost pops the nest egg there, spend very low. The splash not going to heal himself, going to go for Alex instead, but I don't think he even hit him with it. Tom with a jump in, and KC does the right thing by getting him down with the splash whilst he himself gets the trade, but Drage is able to push up to the mid once more.
Yeah, there is that 1 gem advantage for Tornado, since number 8 is going to be spawning on his side first, and now actually they could capitalize on that FA Tornado. They could contest this next gem and find a lot of value. It is going to be a one-on-one trade, but Drake is so low HP, still alive though, and still fighting, but Boss gets to 9, and it looks like it's going to be one of those games where countdown start and get cancelled right after, as that minecart going to be providing the cover. Boss needs to start his. Drage does get tagged, is still alive for now, will be able to pick up gem number 10 and put an end to that early countdown.
Yep, Alex got jump in hand, takes down Sven without even using it, marks up onto Drage as well, making him 2-shot to boss, and that gives him a huge advantage. However, Casey's going to fall over the right-hand side, and yet again, even out in the mid as Drage is able to get it. The minecart just slides past him, not getting damaged by it, and there goes the one that's going to spawn on boss side. They can't drop that one, or they're not going to be in a good position at all. Tom with the jump in, trying to free up some room, and that is going to do perfectly. The jump in from Alex, though, taking him down. Spen's the only one standing up to try and take them down, but he gets completely baited on the splash, and Tom's going to fall to the minecart. FA Tornado on match point and have all the gems they need in hand.
Disaster for Tribe Gaming, and recovery does not seem likely at this point. Alex almost goes down there, actually. Would have given them enough gems to interrupt the countdown, but he survives, and FA Tornado Tribe, as they take down Tribe Gaming with a 4-0 sweep in games. They took down Reply Totem 2-0 in sets as well. That's a little bit scary. I mean, you know, Tribe are in that spot where probably their main focus is preparing for Worlds, and sometimes that also involves taking a bit of a break before you get into the heavy preparation. So not sure, you know, how much they've been scrimming and how much they've been preparing right now specifically for Brawl Masters either. But an interesting result as FA Tornado, they take down 2 world finalists straight up here as, you know, a freshly formed FA team that I did not even know existed before an hour ago. So respect for sure on my end, and I think they'll be pretty happy about this win as they move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I mean, I'll tell you something right now. I wouldn't want to be their semi-final opponents, especially, you know, if I'm qualified for World Finals. It seems like it's a World Finalist team's kryptonite. So if AC Milan Clash are still in, you better watch out for FA Tornado coming for you as well. But they are going to make it to the semis, and yeah, as I say, I wouldn't want to be their opponent after these 2 performances they've put out in the quarters and in the round of 16, completely sweeping 2 World Final teams.
Man, that's definitely a statement. That's definitely a statement. You love to see those underdog stories come true. We have our next game ready already, actually, and that's going to be FA Verified against Esport Empire. Now, FA Verified, I believe they've had some decent results lately as well. I've been starting to make some noise. I'm not entirely sure where they stand as we speak. Esport Empire, we did see them just earlier, and they look pretty decent, but I also wasn't the most convinced just yet. I'd say on paper, this could be a bit of an advantageous situation for FA Verified.
Yeah, I will say, you know, FA Verified, they did win the Razor tournament, but Boss was on their roster. So, I mean, it's going to be different.
That's fair.
I believe it's X Zero Zone, who are going to be playing right now. So you've got the Jaime, Fede, and I'm forgetting who the third is. I always do this with that team, but we did see Esport Empire previously as well. And I feel maybe, you know, it's the same as Esport Empire against Frutas, 2 fairly evenly matched teams, and I'm probably expecting it to go to that 3rd and final set.
It absolutely could. It absolutely could. I don't know. I feel like a 2-0 for FA Verified would not surprise me the most. I don't know. I feel like from what I've seen lately on their end, they look like the better team. But as you mentioned, for for Razor, they actually had Boss in their team as well, which is playing now for Tornado, if I'm correct. So a bit of an interesting change there. We'll see how they can play without him. Gem Grab on Minecraft Madness is going to be first pick here from Esports Empire. Brawl Ball and Basketball, Bounty on Shooting Star will be right after, as FA Verified have decided to pick those 2. And then we have the Ash and Stu bands, which is pretty interesting, I think. I mean, I just don't really know why Stu, since I think he's probably okay on Minecraft Madness, but okay at best. And on Basketball and Shooting Star, I think okay would be, you know, a bit of a compliment compared to how good he actually fares. Meg and Poco, I like more. Makes a little bit more sense, but fair enough. I mean, some pretty standard bands across the board, except for that Stu band, which I'm still... I don't know. How do you feel about it, Trav?
I don't like it, but I feel like certain teams do just have those brawlers that they panic ban just to get something out of the way. I mean, it will have been their last ban as well, considering it's ABBBA. They'll have banned Ash first and then come back to ban Stu last. So, I mean, maybe they've just got everything out of the mix that they want to, so just get that brawler that they don't like playing out of the way. That might be the strategy they're going for. Back-to-back minecart madness, though. I don't know if we're going to be seeing some pretty comparable comps, considering Byron's still in the mix. We've got Bell in the mix, Piper, all those long-range brawlers that we did just see. But the Crow also was a huge part of that meta, a bit of anti-heal in there, which does quite a lot against that Byron pick. Backyard Bowl after that as well. I mean, it's going to be similar metas to what we've already seen. The Crow returning once more, the Spike. You like Piper, I like a bit of Bell on that map, so it's good to see what they're going to bring out, and then shooting star at the end. You know what's going to be brought out there.
Yeah, I am not expecting too many surprises. Although we've had some. We saw some Gene, some Pam, some of those guys showing up, Max as well. Earlier, you know, the BB and then Poco and all that stuff. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some surprises still, but doesn't seem the most likely. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I think this could be a 2-0 sweep. But as you said, Boss is not in FA Verified's roster anymore, and he's shown that he can be the key to success for some teams. So I'm really curious to see how that is all going to be playing out. Minecart Madness, to start things off, is a bit of a tough one every time. I feel like starting on Minecart Madness, it can be kind of a double-edged sword. Like, you're really going to be woken up after that because it's such a hard map to play. But on the other hand, sometimes you just don't really wake up for the entire set, and you just, you know, end up getting out-comped or even just bullied through that game. It's a bit of an interesting set, and I think a really tough one to start your matchup with. But it seems like that's the environment that Esport Empire thrive in and want to force FA Verified into as well. So yeah, curious about this one. Looking forward to seeing those guys play. As I mentioned earlier, Esport Empire, I wasn't the most convinced by their performance against Frutas. I felt like Frutas did not bring their A game, and I felt like Esport Empire didn't either, but just were a little bit better across the board, especially with the comp picks. But besides that, I was honestly not the most convinced by their performance.
I will say, you know, we saw them play the Max, Sandy, and Crow two of the games against FA Frutas on this exact map. So FA Verified maybe have a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come from Esport Empire if they are watching the stream. I mean, it can really affect having the same maps yet again and again every single match in and out. If you're on the stream, you've got that disadvantage of the opponents knowing what you've got in the past, and therefore you either have to change it up or fully commit to it. What they're going to do is anybody's guess. We're going to see a Sprout, a Bell, and a Pam on this side, and they're going to be going for a Sprout, a Bell, and a Crow on the other.
Alright, we'll see how that is going to be working out. I mean, on paper, the anti-heal from Crow is going to take effect against that Pam quite nicely, but on paper is not always how it actually ends up, as we do see pretty much a team wipe early on there in favor of FA Verified. And Esport Empire forced back to reconsider their options on how to retake that mid control. And a nice early gem lead for FA Verified. It could be worse, and it could be much scarier. Faded going very aggressive, and against a Sprout, that can work. That can definitely work. Able to heal himself up as well and stand in that position for a very long time, causing some trouble there for Esport Empire and their backline directly.
Yeah, a bit of a questionable turret from Brooby there with the Mama's Squeeze nuke, as it does get called quite often. He threw it directly onto a minecart, but apparently it's going to be working out. They got 11 gems in the bank. Jaime possibly going to be waiting for one more. I don't know if it's spawning on his side or theirs. I mean, it is. Fede can now go a bit more aggressive. Not choosing to. He's just going to come back, throw a wall down, block off that lane, and this is going to be an FA Verified win. Not just yet, as he is going to fall down, but 10 gems now in Jaime's hands.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much just delaying the inevitable. I just don't really see too many options for them to work with. Mama Squeeze gonna be picking up a kill on the left-hand side as well, and there you have it at last. FA Verified able to secure that first game, fairly convincingly, if I may say so. and looking good here, honestly. And I think that comp-wise, it was a very even matchup. I feel like both teams had some options, and some, I mean, the only differences were the Pam versus Crow, right? And I feel like overall it's a fairly even matchup, because I think Pam is probably stronger despite the anti-heal, but Crow can still do a lot of stuff. You know, I feel like Crow can be so helpful to his team as well if he can get a cheeky slow on the gem carrier. That can turn around a game completely, whereas Pam, I feel like, has a little bit less of that capability. I mean, definitely doesn't have that capability, but of turning games around, I mean. So, I don't know. I feel like it was very neutral and very even regarding the comms. The execution was just a lot more clean from FA Verified.
Yeah, I will say, I'm just thinking it was Fede. Fede made the biggest difference on Sprout, and you know,
huge.
Sprout diff. I mean, the opposing Sprout just really didn't do too much. You see Fede getting on top of him and shooting his other opponents, whereas Sprout was trying to focus on the Sprout, and I feel that's what made the biggest difference, because he's going to be able to dodge a Sprout who's on top of him all day long, and he's just shooting other people. So, I mean, that's kind of just like a 3v2 at that point, unless you booked your ideas up as the other Sprout, and he really just didn't throughout the whole game, didn't learn. And I feel like that was kind of the biggest difference. A few little Pam turrets here and there did make quite a big of effect, but I mean, I don't dislike the Crow at that point. You got the slow, as you did mention, and that can make the biggest difference overall.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Fede was huge in the game. I mean, he survived for so long on that right-hand side and was just costing ammo and distractions on the enemy side and doing a terrific job at that. And he ended up winning the fight against the Sprout as well after like 5 minutes of just standing in there. Absolutely wild stuff from him. It's going to be switching off towards the Crow this time around, so an interesting decision there. We'll be seeing Bruby on the Spike and Hamey on the Bell. The comp from Esports Empire is a bit more interesting. We see the Crow and the Sandy and the Max that we saw earlier as well against FA Frutas, and worked out wonders for them. But now they have a Mortis to complement that, which is a bit of an interesting decision, and I'm not sure how well it's going to be working against that comp from FA Verified.
Good start though. Jose forced to go as aggressive as he was going to go down to the burn down damage of the Crow anyway. A little stun thrown out from How to Win, and once more that's another super wasted for them. I mean, a gadget wasted, should I say, and Ruby now trying to aggress up this left-hand side after he's eventually been able to win it. A good lead was made by Esports Empire by just having the Mortis going so aggressive along with the Sandy, but almost evened out now, 6-3. Getting some control back, and the Mortis just seems to be going down over and over again.
Yeah, I feel like that initial advantage is pretty much gone now, and look at that. Now he's forced to pick up the gems. That's just not ideal, and Mortis is great at surviving with the gems. The problem is that he can't do anything but surviving with the gems. He can't go on the aggressive like he would really like to, and this is going to be causing some real problems for Esports Empire, as they have no X factor to really, you know, get into those engagements. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Jose has been pretty much sitting on that right-hand side and watching FA Verified taking gem after gem and getting close to starting the card, and will be doing so now as Fede actually took down the Mortis as well. And FA Verified looks like they are going to be running away with this game pretty easily. And the start was great from Esports Empire, but after the initial push and control take, it just really didn't last for long.
Yeah, I will say, Mortis, you should have gone down to the minecart, just walk into spawn and purposely die to it, drop the gems for someone else, and then go aggressive. That's the one time, you know, it's not embarrassing to die to the minecart when you do it on purpose, and people are going to know it as well. That's the thing, they'll know what you're doing, and it just seems like the right thing to do on that map, though. However, Backyard Bowl coming up next, and honestly, at this point, I said it was probably going to be a bit of an even matchup at this point. I think it's going to be quite hard to rule against the 2-0 for Verified at this point.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I completely agree. Look really convincing on their end. I'm expecting more of that in Brawl Ball. Esports Empire, they did have a good performance on Backyard Bowl against FA Frutas, if my memory is clear. So they might stand a good shot here. If it's possible to see the modes again, or like the draft perfect, it's always red that picks first anyways, right? So that means FA verified. We see it on screen anyways. Here, pick Brawl and then Bounty. So once again, you know, they pick up the first set. It's Esport Empire's map of choice. That's what they wanted to play. And honestly, at the end of the set, it didn't look like they wanted to play any more of it. So maybe this is one of those situations where it just gets pretty scary, because Brawl is up next, FA verified. We're looking forward to getting some Brawl action, and they have the opportunity to do so now with the 1-0 lead, as they have taken that first set. Let's see if they can find some openings. The Sprout can do a lot of work against that comp, but how to win is going to take the wise decision of removing that wall and just nerfing Sprout a little bit for the time being.
Yeah, I think if they get the matchups anyway, you know, you want that Sprout on the spike preferably, and I don't think a Pam does bad against a Crow, so if they can get these matchups consistently right, then it should be alright. But, you know, as you say, you've said it multiple times in Backyard Bowl, Jaime's going to be struggling now the walls start to be broken against how to win. He can sit behind a wall all day, but as soon as the walls start to be broken, he's going to really struggle in that Piper 1v1. Fede getting tapped up quite heavily, and there goes the mid wall. Jose was going to commit to it, kind of decided against it. A shot from Jose is going to be missed, and that opens up a bit of an opportunity for Fede to push down this right side. Duke and a few shots. Home in recipe going to be connected onto Bruby, though. Now it's all down to Fede to try and control this side, and therefore kind of control the whole map from it.
Yeah, and this is looking great, actually, for FA verified. They created a lot of space. Bruby does end up going down, but it's still FA verified with the control, and in a position like this, the Sprout can genuinely be a good tank as well. Kevin is going to be jumping in. Doesn't quite get the... well, Hamey gets to go on the left-hand side anyways. I was looking... I was so tunnel-visioned on that duel on the right-hand side that I completely forgot that Hamey just picked up that ball and scored. So, great stuff from FA verified, and now Esport Empire, they are starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same. It came as a bit of a surprise to me that he scored, but I was just admiring the way Fede kind of predicted which side of the wall he was going to jump and just went the other side of it to avoid the damage and obviously the loss of control. A jump coming in once more this time. He is going to go down anyway, and Fede will survive once more, picking up that photosynthesis from the bush and getting it down. He throws the turret directly into a super from the Piper, but it only takes one shot from it anyway. It will tank a shot as well, and he does go down. Fede just going to be keeping the control, because that's all they need to do at this point. It's looking like a match point now. Fede going to go for the walk, but a nice pass across, and he doesn't manage to score, but I'm not sure if they're good enough time to get up the map anyway, as two of them fall. A turret is there, and this is going to be a walk-in if he does it right. A little trick shot, doesn't matter anyway. And there we go. That is going to be the first game of Brawl Ball going to FA Verified. Bit elongated by FA Verified, but nonetheless, it's still a good win to take.
Yeah, absolutely so. I mean, you know, it got a little bit awkward towards the end, but the stakes were already gone, right? FA verified, they already had the time on their side, and that is what matters the most. Match point now for FA verified, and remember, I predicted that 2-0 sweep, just so you guys, you know, if you are surprised, then you probably should unmute the stream. Honestly, yeah, they're looking good. They're looking good. Much more composed as well than Esports Empire. It feels like Esports Empire, whenever something goes wrong, it just all starts to slowly escalate and fall apart bit by bit. And FA Verified are just able to remain very calm so far and not too challenged. And whenever something happens that goes against their way, they just slow things down a little bit, wait for, you know, respawns to come true and timings to be right, and they deal with it, because they didn't have the best start, to be fair. They lost a lot of the walls on their defense side super early on. With a Sprout on your team and facing a Piper, that's definitely not ideal, and they were able to just deal with it very, very well, able to keep calm, you know, take action, and then try to move that fight upwards where they still had a lot of cover and where your opponents are not likely to even consider destroying it, because you don't want to destroy your own walls.
Yeah, well, a bit of a different approach this time. We've seen the 8-bits coming out now, and the Byron to go alongside it. How to win, going to be playing the Spike and just get a decent matchup against him this side if he does get a bit of aggression on. Fede's going to pop the gadget, get some heals back to himself now, and we're seeing the same as last time. Esport Empire with a bit of early control, but it starts to deteriorate as they do fall, and Jaime does a nice job over the right, but he is also going to join them back in spawn, and Fede's left all alone now as Esport Empire. Just going to sit behind this wall, wait out a little bit longer, and wait for the right opportunity this time as opposed to last game.
right. Fede going for his super. Broby on the left-hand side, try to clear it out. It does end up being a trade and a 2-on-2 situation. But slowly, FA Verified are trying to unlock that situation and get back to a fight for the mid. Kevin going for the jump in. It's a one-on-one trade once more. Both teams not able to really either commit fully or get out of that defensive situation, as at last it looks like it's going to be FA Verified to be able to defend off that initial aggression. That damage booster placed in the middle of the spike super will get it straight up to mid HP. Not entirely sure if that's the way to go, but they do pick up an elimination, damage booster out of the way, and a chance for Esports Empire to maybe capitalize.
Looking like they might do as well, just Fede remaining, but Jaime couldn't have respawned at a better time. Tank to there, but the splash as well from Fede, cleaning up with a nice little double kill, saving Grace for FA Verified here. Just taking it back to the mid now, but Broby is not going to be fast enough to dodge that little mark. Jose PG now getting some shots off, takes him down, but he's going to burn down to the Byron damage anyway. Jaime with a little bit of surprise out of the bush and gets a nice little double bit of damage onto the two brawlers. Kevin now got his jump secured, but mid control eventually back in favor of FA Verified for the first time this game, and let's hope that they don't get a repeat of what last one happened, because Esports Empire have been dominating.
Yeah, FA Verified, they could end things right here, right now. Jose is solo HP as well. Overtime going to be kicking in here in just about a couple of seconds. Esports Empire cornering up that ball, feeling like pressure is going to be heading their way, as we have that push forward here from FA Verified. Auto-win gets stacked up. He's down. And the respawn from Kevin did come true, so that is going to be relieving a little bit of pressure here for Esports Empire, but how long can they hold that defense? Can they maybe even still turn it around into a push? That kill onto Jaime might be enough. I don't know what happened on that left-hand side, but we do have a slowly rising aggression coming through from Esports Empire, but they're still very far from being able to score.
The teleport back's going to be the end of him. Jaime's got the ball and he's got the jump as well. He does get it over.
Oh, what
the
a play.
splash comes on top of it, and that is an absolutely amazing play from FA Verified. Could not have done it better myself. Great jump in, perfectly placed heal, and that is going to secure them the win.
That was beautiful. Beautiful execution there. Just, you know, the perfect reactionary play, right? They just wait for an opportunity, wait for the slightest placement mistake, and then you capitalize off it. Beautiful stuff there from FA Verified, able to pick up the 4-0 sweep against Esports Empire, knocking them out of those qualifiers as they proceed to the semis. Man, we've had some great moments already today. Really happy about this qualifier so far. Let's go check out the bracket, see how things are going on the other side and how the other teams have been doing so far. Clash taking down Big Clan with a 2-0 sweep. Nothing too unexpected here. Mood Gaming losing 2-1 to Pharmacy Centers. I feel like that's a little bit of an upset. Not a huge one, but still a little bit of an upset, which means that we got our two semifinals. AC Milan Clash versus FA Tornado, and FA Verified against Pharmacy Centers. We could potentially have an all FA grand final. I'd love that.
Yeah, I'd also love that as well. I mean, I'm seeing a bit of a lack of SK in this bracket. Not sure if they got knocked out very early, or they've just done the maths and know they didn't even have to show up to this one because they've been in two finals prior to this to get to secure those playoffs. So I'm not sure about that. Clash clearly wanted to come and guarantee their first seed, so they'd be facing the last chance qualifier winner in those playoffs. And that's a really good place to be in. If you're against the team who's going to be seeding fourth, that's probably good odds for you to go all the way. But after the break, we will have those semi-finals, and we will be right back just after this.
Welcome back, guys. The semifinals are about to start, getting closer to the end of this Open Qualifier, the last one as well for this fall 2021 season of Brawl Masters. And we start things off with nothing else but FA Verified versus Esport Empire. Two teams that have already played against each other, so it is AC Milan Clash versus FA Tornado instead. So don't mind us, but let's look at the draft, which I'm assuming is correct here, as we have Bounty Shooting Star being picked by FA Tornado, which we've seen them shine on against Tribe Gaming. I'm assuming against Reply Totem too. And Brawl Ball on Backyard Ball, Heist on Hot Potato, those are the picks from Clash. They're going to be quite happy about that. I think that for the most part, Clash are going to be quite happy about this draft. They've been popping off on Heist. They've always been very good at Brawl Ball and really decent in Bounty as well. I mean, what is Clash bad at this point? It's kind of hard to say, but Edgar and Brock are going to be the bans from AC Milan Clash, and I have no clue what the strategy is here. Trav, can you enlighten me, or are you from your face, I would assume in the same situation as I am?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I've seen Hot Potato today. We'll possibly see Hot Potato today, which I'm quite sad about, because honestly, it's a really good map, and I thought more people would want to play it. And I mean, Brock's just not that good anymore, and Edgar's obviously only going to be used on Hot Potato, so clearly thinking it might go the long way, which is something you don't really usually see AC Milan Clash accounting for, because they want to get it done as fast as possible. Maybe they're a little bit scared about their prior performances against Reply Totem and Tribe Gaming, though, and they're clearly on some kind of tour of just taking down all of the world's qualified teams, so who knows, maybe AC Milan Clash are next, and that's why they're kind of taking the contingency of going to the third set.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I feel like Clash are a little bit more consistent than both Tribe and Totem, which are known to have some very inconsistent moments in their careers. So I feel like they should be able to shut down the horror train that FA Tornado started today with a nice win streak against both Reply Totem and Tribe Gaming EU as their, as far as I know, first performance in an event together. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I mean, it definitely looks scary, and you know, I would say that after beating Totem and Tribe, the natural, you know, upgrade would be to follow AC Milan Clash, to take down the AC Milan Clash. Can they do it? I'm not 100% sure just yet. They'll have to show an even higher level of play than they have already. And that's going to be asking a lot to be this consistent throughout the entire event, you know. And so far, it did feel like they weren't even challenged all that much, you know. I want to see how they perform when they are under pressure, you know. If it gets to a third set, if it gets to, you know, a situation where they feel like they're about to lose, this is where you really need to see that synergy and that experience, you know, and team play and all that stuff come at play. And that is where Tornado might start to struggle. So looking to that, but once again, it might not get to it. I mean, I expected the match against Tribe to be a whole lot closer than it got, so who knows at this point? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, where I feel like, you know, they've had two walkover victories, 2-0-2-0 against the two previous teams, so being faced up against a team like AC Milan Clash can put quite a lot of pressure on a team, especially if they go down to start with. So I feel like if they're going to stand a chance, they're going to need to take even the first game or the first set, something like that, to get the momentum going, get some belief in themselves to be able to do this, and then from there they'll probably do quite a good job. Because, you know, last week we did see AC Milan Clash banning out Brawl Ball quite a lot. I'm not sure if that's because they just didn't like the map or something. They've become less confident on it. They obviously have selected it on this one, but that is kind of like, you know, if you're banning out maps, you're picking maps, that's kind of like the fourth thing you either want or don't want. So it kind of adds another dimension to it. I'm not really sure if FA Tornado, as you say, are really going to be able to put that much of a fight up, just because of how good Clash are in terms of team play and mechanics, which is where, you know, we didn't get to see the Totem game, but that's where Tribe kind of failed in terms of the team play, which is where they usually thrive.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't agree more for the most part. So this is just going to be a whole other challenge here for FA Tornado. Let's see if they can make it happen again. And look at that. We have the BB, Max, and Pam comp coming through here for FA Tornado. We've seen it do damage before. Lenan just barely loses that fight to Alex. Gonna be a bit of a frustrating way to go down and give away that lead to FA Tornado.
Yep, KC very low now though, and he is going to get taken down along with that peep, and a lot of the wall goes along with it too. Return to center from Yoshi.
How?
He's going to secure the pickup. I'm not sure how, to be honest, but the return to center did do quite a lot of work there by the looks of things. Lene jumps away.
Yeah, but how did the entire wall get destroyed like that? That was interesting. And not even the wall up close? I'm going to be rewatching that after the stream.
I was thinking the exact same would happen.
What are those physics? What are those physics? Gia also playing tank as a tick for some reason there. I mean, he was invulnerable, but come on, maybe not that invulnerable. Let's see if they can pick things up from there. Actually, that nice homemade recipe from Lena makes it only a 2-star difference, and it is starting to look like a comeback might be possible. A miss from that peep. I mean, the peep is not the most valuable against a comp like this, right? But still, that extra damage can definitely go a long way.
Yep, Lenane's going to go down too. Yoshi's eventually picked up his head once more. Going to be trying to use that quite strategically, so he's not using it yet, because look at how much of an issue his team are having in the back of there. 10 down now. He breaks the wall, but doesn't get the hit on Boss this time. He can get the pickup, though, but Boss swings faster than he does, and this is going to be an all-out Team White once more. You expect them to retreat at some point, but they've got a little healing station in the spawn as well, so that's a little bit more tanking they do have, but I mean, unless they can get Alex here, it's going to be pretty much done, because they just don't have enough stars to be able to take down this whole team and get it back.
Yeah. Oh, Boss! Did he just interrupt that peep? That was cool.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what happened for 90% of that game, to be honest. It was just constant running in a straight line, getting some kills, some walls being randomly broken by a peep, and so on. It was all a bit random, but FA Tornado... Oh!
Another iconic interruption of It's always at the best moments as well, man. You're back, Trav. You're back.
I can see it. I'm always pulling the best faces as well. It's great.
They're incredible. Every time it's like at the same moment of your sentence, kind of. You know what I mean? Like where you do the same expression every time. Legendary. But yeah, dissect this game for us. I mean, there's not that much to dissect, to be fair. It was kind of just an outcomp from Tornado. So yeah, I just retract what I just said. There's nothing else to dissect. But let's check it out. Actually, AQM going for the same now. And Tornado are going to be going for something a bit more traditional, but no tick, which should help. But still, do you feel like this is a winnable comp here for Tornado?
Maybe because they have the bell instead of the nanny, and that's going to be quite a lot of damage when the mark does connect, and it's connected onto Yoshi as well, who is going to be the target they want to take out. A little ball comes in, and it's not quite going to pick up Boss just yet. Does manage to stay alive, but a nice 9-0 lead for Clash early on is quite a good one to have.
Yeah, this is violence on the side of Clash here. 15-0 so far. And without too much of a sweat, to be completely honest. That healing station is going to be out of the way. Yoshi is going to be the first one to fall for Clash. But so far, it does still feel like they have the situation relatively under control. Maybe a little bit of over-aggression there from Guille. But honestly, I mean, it's still a 7-star lead in favor of Clash. So I don't think they're even close to being worried just yet. However, they want to make sure that the situation doesn't get out of hand too quickly.
Yep, only 7 stars between them now. Lene has 5 of them, so that's something to be a little bit worried about. The peep coming out now as well. Probably going to be heading for that Yoshi target as he was fairly low. Healed up now though. He's going to get taken down, and it's reduced to only 5. A homemade recipe connected from KC as well. Going to jump, get rid of some of the walls that they're thriving off at the moment, and try and pin them in spawn for this last 15 seconds. And they know they need to get a couple of pickups here to make this comeback happen.
Alright, 10 seconds left, and Tornado, they need to find Lena no matter what at this point. And it doesn't look like they're going to be even nearly close enough to make that happen. Clash able to tie things up, and honestly giving Tornado a bit of a taste of their own medicine here with that comp. Just rocking it themselves, and it felt like Tornado, I wouldn't say quite read it, but they were ready for it to pop up, bringing the Bell instead of the Piper. But that was not even nearly enough to deal with the comp. So, yeah, a bit of an interesting situation now, as we're all tied up and the set is going to be on the line. The next game is going to be deciding it. And now it's mind games time, right? Because who is going to be sticking to that comp? Who is going to be trying to counter it? Is someone going to go back to the more traditional comp? Who knows? Who knows? Trav, what do you do in such a situation?
I don't know. I'm going for a bit of a hybrid, to be honest. I think you can't be too sure what they're going to go. So maybe you go something like the B that we saw last time with the Bell. And it did come out on top against the traditional comp as well. You know, it should come out on top against the tankier comp as well. So we haven't seen that yet. But last time we saw it, they did manage to win regardless of being countered that little bit. So it'd be good to see that come out once more and see whether it was just a bit of a choke from the opposition or whether it was just really well played by the team we saw play it. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'd definitely be bringing out a bit of a hybrid, the pilot, the Bell, maybe the B, something along with that to try and counter them out.
Yeah, I like that approach quite a bit. I mean, I think it's a matter of perspectives as well. But there's really just pros and cons on both sides, because I would say traditionally that as an underdog, you kind of want to be the one to take a risk and then either go full on counter or full on, you know, the tanks. I mean, it's not exactly tanks like healers and Max. But on the other hand, they picked this map, and you know, you want to capitalize when you're facing something like this, and that's kind of what they're going to be going for, actually. But we do have that hybrid that you were talking about, Trev, bringing in the B on the side of Clash, and that's going to make this game very interesting, because I'd say it's fairly balanced for the most part. I mean, you know, the B is going to be the key point here. If she can hit her shots, it can be huge for Clash. And so far, it's been hit after hit, and Yoshi has not been slacking either, as he's on 4 stones, already claiming 2 kills early on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it might be more difficult for Guille to miss the shots against a Poco Pam rather than hit them, considering how much of a decorated player he is. And so far, it's all just Yoshi at the moment, to be honest. So maybe the B is not even necessary. I think it's just putting on that kind of pressure. Linane does a bit of a weird jump up and probably going to get taken out by Alex, which he does, but survives a little bit longer than usual. Yoshi and Guille still sitting on a healthy amount of stars each, 5 and 4, as this game progresses on.
All right, 8 stars in favor of AC Milan Clash. Boss gonna be eating that Peeps right into his face. And another kill there for Clash. So far, vibing is the technical term for this current situation, as Alex does go for a dash forward. Gets punished pretty much immediately, but still trying to find some opportunities. Yoshi is just casually sitting full stars on a Nani, having the best time of his life, picking up yet another kill, and at this point, it's pretty much a win here. Nothing that Tornado can do anymore. Nothing they could do already a while back, to be completely honest. And Clash pick up Bounty. This is a mode that, you know, made us kind of fall in love with FA Tornado as well, you know, as they looked incredible on it against Tribe. AC Milan Clash able to shut it down.
Honestly, I'd like to see a bit of a comeback after Yoshi started BMing with like 30 seconds left. It'd have been really nice to see, but honestly, I mean, they deserved it thoroughly. He had like, what, it'll have been like 10 kills to his name throughout that match. It seemed like he was near enough doing it all, so he kind of earned a little bit of a spin towards the end of that game, to be honest. However, Backyard Bowl coming up next, which is, it is going to be Clash's pick, and we know how good they are at Brawl Ball, so I think it's quite hard to rule against the sweep at the moment. However, FA Tornado, they did have some really, really good fighting chance in, you know, all 3 of those games that we did just see played out. And towards the end of it, the B and the Nanny started popping off, so that's why they struggled a bit in the 3rd game. But when they did have, you know, a bit of a mirror comp, or, you know, even the better comp, they did come out on top. So, I mean, it's the exact same probably in Brawl Ball. Whoever gets the comps is going to win, but, I mean, Clash have still got a chance even if they don't at this point.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a really sweet situation for Clash, because all they get to play from now on is their maps, and they already have the one who lead in sets. So they're in a very, very sweet situation. I feel like right now the odds are very, very, very much in their favor, although you can never call any team out just yet, especially FA Tornado, that have been able to surprise us quite a bit. But now we're getting to that spot I was mentioning earlier, you know? FA Tornado against Totem, they had a very smooth time. Didn't watch the match, but it was a 2-0 sweep. Against Tribe EU, it was a 4-0 in games. We haven't really seen them in a position where they are truly challenged. I'm sure some of the games against Tribe were close, but they always had the momentum and, you know, most things lining up and going their way. Now they have an actual challenge, an actual situation where it looks like they're about to lose. How can they hold up now? How can they, you know, push back to a third and final set? It's going to be tough, but now it's the real challenge starting for FA Tornado.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the first set they've dropped in the entire bracket today. So, I mean, it's a bit of a different feeling, especially because they haven't really been a team together at all, never mind for that long. They literally only come together to play this today. So, I mean, it's gonna be weird to see how they do react to this. And here we are going into the game. They're going to be playing the Bell, and here is the Leon I've been waiting for it all day. Playing it quite far back, and it has been hit by a couple of curveballs there early on. It's going to keep on ticking down too, so that's also an aspect you've got to think about. And there it goes. There's the change. It is going to go down, and Clash are going to have so much control for starters. Chaos pushes up so far.
Oh, a sweet kill there from Alex, but might not be enough to put an end to that push. I think he did. I think he single-handedly just pretty much just nailed that defense. That was pretty well on his end, and he's just getting kill after kill, absolutely having the most amazing time so far in this game. And now FA Tornado, they turned it into a push of their own, and what looked like a really tough situation might actually result in a goal. That wall from iChaos is going to slow things down a little bit. Alex goes down at last, and Clash looking to put an end to that aggression from FA Tornado.
Yeah, Lenane needs to watch out for that nest egg. He is going to get popped by it, and nobody to follow up over though. But if he was just a second earlier going on to that, he would have gone down to the damage. Back in AQM's favor now, as they are in a very, very good position. Nest egg going to be popped down by Boss, and Alex completely shuts off. And this is a really good position for Chaos now, as he can just keep on throwing over these walls. Guille maybe overextending a little bit once more. He gets to slow down as well, though. Casey all on his own now. Boss comes to help, but Lenane's going to be able to force it in anyway, and that's going to bring it to 1-0 in this match.
All right, Clash doing what they usually do in Brawl, and that is taking the advantage as soon as they can. Very versatile overall in this mode, you know. Sometimes playing extremely patient, sometimes popping off like crazy. Casey gonna get sniped down there. Beautiful angle from the Nell that ran inside. And Boss is the last member of Tornado left alive. Low HP gets tapped down by Guille, and now we have an opportunity for Clash to just seal the deal and get to match point. Although, that ball is going to get locked in very nicely in that spot. And time is just going to be running by as FA Tornado. They're running out of it and don't really know how to deal with this situation.
I mean, Boss getting some heals if he aggresses a bit here, possibly, but no, Casey goes down, and Lenane does as well, but at this point it's already secured. They are going to be heading to match point.
All right, match point coming up now in favor of AC Milan Clash. And we talked about the pressure. We talked about, you know, there are teams that have never really lost before. So you can't really know how they are going to be dealing with losses, you know. And FA Tornado is one of said teams, as they were in the lead pretty much always in this tournament so far. Now they're not only not in the lead, they are facing a match point, and this is where, you know, you really see what a team is worth, because you start to see, you know, if they can still communicate under very high pressure, if maybe there is some tension building up as well. You never know, you know, when you're playing with people, especially if you don't know them the best. You blame someone, and then things can get heated up really quickly. So we'll have to see how that's all working out for FA Tornado. So far in that first game, it didn't look the best. They had some opportunities, and Alex popped off big time early on the Leon, but afterwards was really quiet for the rest of that game, and so was the rest of FA Tornado pretty much. It looked like after that initial push, when they got shut down by that Sprout wall, and eventually Clash were able to defend things off, FA Tornado, they were just nowhere to be seen, always playing defensive from there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's that initial pressure that you're going to be getting that really does do a lot. I mean, they backed them off quite nicely. Alex with a nice little 3-piece. You can't really go too wrong with that. But, I mean, it's the times like that where Clashes, you know, they're going to be composed. They're going to get the control back, and they know they can do it as well with the skill that they have. Just push them straight back out, keep control for the rest of the game, and it's just done at this point. Like, AC Milan Clash, I mean, I don't mean the greater game's done. I mean, that game was just completely done when they got the control. FA Tornado still do have a chance, but they're going to have to pull something a little bit better than what they just did out of the bag, because it just didn't seem to work at all. Wasn't really a fan of the Byron, to be honest with you. I much prefer these more aggressive comps. I like the Sprout, and the Sprout went aggressive. It's like, the Sprout isn't an aggressive roller, but on this map, you need to play aggressively, which is what Chaos does so perfectly.
Yeah, no, I honestly could not have said it better, Trav. Let's go check things out here as we get that match point in favor of AC Milan Clash, and FA Tornado are facing a challenge they haven't had to face yet. And we'll see some more Leon and some more Lollipop drops on both sides. And so far, it is looking a little bit better for Clash as they have the man advantage, 2-for-1 trade. And it is going to get shut down rather quickly as Chaos gets taken out by Boss's Overgrowth, I believe.
Yeah, now just trying to keep the control. Casey's going to get tapped up completely in that Lollipop drop, and the name feeling confident about it now as he does try to aggress, and Alex has been seen popping that super, so they know it's coming. Chaos is just going to drop a little Lollipop drop a bit further up the map, taking one shot from Boss, and he is also one shot himself. KC now very low, but so's Guille, so he maintains that aggression. Bit of a stalemate back to the mid now, and the wall eventually going to come out from Boss, stopping the pinch from Lenane just yet, but as they start to aggress up the map, he has to back off, as now the pinch is back open again.
Bit more than a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock here for an opening to rise on both sides, otherwise overtime could be on the menu. As FA Tornado, they got an entry kill a couple of seconds ago, but Clash were rather quick on the trade. Are able to capitalize here by finding another kill. KC low HP too. Chaos picks up a sweet double kill on the right hand side, and surely that's going to be a goal, but the wall is there to slow things down. We'll be clearing that up now as Boss is another wall already, but this time around I don't know if it's gonna be enough to save them, as Lena is able to get the final kill to score, and AC Milan Clash are in a sweet spot with that 1-0 lead here and the match point in hand, 30 seconds away from making it all the way to the grand finals.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing it as well. Casey all on his own now, 24 seconds left. That life plant's going to be tanking for Guille as well. Not getting the bounces back onto him just yet. Lenane just going to go for that ball, send it up a little bit, or put it in his own corner. It looks like they're going to go for their own corner route. The Scale's just going to slide it back. Alex all alone pops the Invisi heal, but now he can't shoot anybody. And this is over right here as AC Milan Clash are going to find their route all the way to the final. And FA Tornado are going to be pleased with their performance. They'll be pleased they've taken down 2 of the world finalist teams, but they're only going to be going away with a few points which aren't going to matter, and $200.
All right, GG's, well played. FA Tornado had a great run, and even against Clash, honestly, had a pretty decent performance, all things considered, right? Like, they had some close games, and even though Clash was the clear winner, I think FA Tornado can be very, very happy with their run today. As you mentioned, points not really going to be mattering too much for them. They can't qualify for the playoffs until the last chance qualifiers. Obviously, that is going to be next week, same day. But this is going to be the end of their run, at least for the Open Qualifiers. AC Milan Clash going to the finals. The question now is who will be joining AC Milan Clash in the finals of this qualifier? Well, it's going to be either FA Verified or Pharmacy Senders. We'll have our answers soon enough, as this is going to be our next match already. The second and last semi-final, and a bit of an interesting one here as well, as we have two other teams where they're kind of all over the place, not too sure who would be dominant in a matchup like this. Let's say on paper, FA Verified have achieved a little bit more lately, but you said it as well, Trav. FA Verified, they were playing with Boss, that is playing for Tornado now, so that could have weakened their team a little bit. Didn't weaken them enough for them to drop out before the semifinals, but maybe Pharmacy Senders will be the one to send them home. Jam Grab on Minecraft Madness is going to be the pick from Pharmacy Senders. We'll see Brawl Ball on Back and Roll Bounty on Shooting Star right after. Bans are Ash and Stu for FA Verified. Pharmacy Center going for Ash and Meg. What do you make out of all of this information? I threw a lot at once, but Trav, how do you dissect this?
I mean, we've seen a lot of minecart, we've seen a lot of backyard bowls. Shooting Star towards the end, if it goes that far, it's probably quite a good map. They've solidified the long range meta, none of the heist in there, which I'm really sad about we haven't got to see today. With the Ash and Stu, Stu is not a ban you see too much nowadays. It's definitely really strong, but it usually just drops a bit below that standard. Byron and Meg from Pharmacy Senders, obviously going to be two really, really strong brawlers. Get the heals out of the way. But in my eyes, minecart being the first map, I think we've kind of got the same solidified meta of the Crow with a couple of long-range sharpshooters, or we just go for the max Sandy and Crow.
Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit. I mean, we've seen both teams pull off some of those brawlers earlier on Minecraft Madness as well, so would not be a big surprise. Overall, I think this is quite an interesting matchup, to be honest. Two teams that I usually would not necessarily expect to even make it all the way to the semifinals, let alone that one of them is going to make it all the way to the grand finals. So an interesting qualifier today, but that is something that can happen, especially on the last day when some teams feel like they can't qualify anymore anyways. But let's find out how the first game goes down as we hop straight into it. And we get to FA Verified versus Pharmacy Senders.
Yeah, we're seeing the Sprout, the Bell, and also the Pam. I do really like the Pam. We've seen it going quite a lot. We got the Bell and the Piper from from Pharmacy Senders, I should say. And it seems to be coming out on top so far. Brewby extremely low right now. Does manage to back away with 2 gems, bring them behind the car. We should allow Jaime to grab them once more. A cheeky little break coming in from the Piper, which makes Fede rotate over to the other side, which is going to be quite hard to win, considering he's got to push up a bit past Lara to be able to get any damage off at all. And the minecart's going to do him some huge favors.
Mark available for Angel Board. Hasn't gone for it just yet, and will connect it now onto Brewby. Will be making his life considerably harder until he decides to end it now. But look at that control in the mid. Salavi chilling so far. Gonna get to 8, maybe even 9. Nope, can't quite pick this one up. We'll be jumping back. But still, that's a very significant gem lead so far. Lara going for the jump in, picks up the kill. No trade from Amy, and the slow comes through as well, making another disaster here for FA Verified, as Pharmacy Senders, they are jumping out of there, and honestly, it's going to be a nightmare for FA Verified to get to end this countdown.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's more than a nightmare at this point, as they've pretty much just given up, sitting in spawn. Pharmacy Senders take the first game, and it's not what I expected, to be honest with you. I saw the Sprout come out, which usually fares quite well against that comp, but they just got the break off too soon on that left-hand side, which is usually where you would be putting Sprout, and then as when I said the minecart did him a lot of favors, he just didn't push up because he thought there was going to be someone in the bush anyway, and I think that kind of cost him quite a lot.
Yeah, spot on. All right, well, Pharmacy Senders starting things off great here so far. FA Verified, what do you feel like the answer is comp-wise? Are there any adjustment that you feel are musts or missed opportunities, or how do you see this?
I think you've kind of just got to stick the Crow in, to be honest. I think it just works so well, and you saw it when it eventually gets the jump onto the Sprout. It can't do anything. I quite like the PAM. I feel like the PAM should probably be kept in. It does quite a good job against quite a lot of the sides at this point, but Bell seems to thrive quite a lot against it, which is obviously the matchup they did have as well, which just isn't the best for FA Verified. But I would like it to stay in and hopefully just get the Crow over that side and get some pressure on.
Okay, I see that as a strong opportunity as well here for FA Verified to try to find a good answer to what Pharmacy Centers have been throwing at them so far. We'll see how it actually goes down soon enough here. But yeah, Pharmacy Centers was a good start so far. That was just a very strong game. I do feel like their comp was maybe a little bit too one-dimensional with having both the Piper and the Bell on their side. I feel like both brawlers have similar weaknesses as well, which can be a bit of a scary prospect, but it worked out, and it worked out rather great as well. So we'll see if they want to make any adjustments as well. Would not be the most surprising. I feel like that's something you can do on this map, right? You know, go for something like double sharpshooters and then remove one of them for game number 2 or something along those lines. We'll see as we see the Crow coming in here from Ruby. We have the spike on Fade, still the Bell on Hamey as well. Salavi, I mean, overall Pharmacy Center is just going for the tankier boys and most importantly the fast boys.
Yeah, I mean, they like to get up the map quite quick, and they like a little bit of a turnaround as well. Some nest eggs being placed by Jaime now, and Lara's going to be taken quite low up that top bit. Still a lead for FA Verified somehow after all the control that they did just start with. Clearly not enough bolts spawning, but a super available now for Buzz up the top left, and Bruby's got his super as well, so he's got something to counter it. They've got obviously the life plant as well from Fede, which is quite a good preventive measure, and Bruby cannot get his super off in time, so Lavi's going to get the cycle. Jaime's there for the take-in, and he does go for it as well. A little pinch from Fede would go a long way, but he gets out as well, so Lavi popping off, and he's going to get a bit further back as well. The heal misses from Lara, and Bruby now aggressing Lara as well, but they still manage to keep a hold of those 8 gems.
Yeah, they lost a couple, but honestly, I think they're happy with that situation. 8 now in their hands, and Salavi showing the pop-off capabilities of Buzz in the right hands, in the right situation. It can be extremely deadly, but look at the pressure now onto Pharmacy Centers as FA Verified. They have full on mid control, are going to be stacking up those gems and getting closer and closer to catching up, but Salavi has something to say to that, and look at that, gems getting snatched away once more. Countdown starting, but a bit of a weak one here as Lara has 1 HP, ends up going down. Salavi is able to kill the aggressors, gets 2, is maybe a little bit greedy on that one onto Hamey. Not sure how that would have worked out anyways, but that should be enough to secure the victory here for Pharmacy Centers as they pick up the first set.
I mean, they just didn't learn, did they? They just did not learn about Salavi popping off on that Buzz. They were making the same mistakes over and over again, and he was just able to, like, cycle and cycle and cycle. You've got to try and put yourself in a position where he just can't hook onto you, and they're just standing out in the open, where even if he literally misses, he's going to connect to one of them, because they were kind of all grouped up a bit as well, which further amplified how good he was going to be when he went in, because he's going to be getting a lot of supercharge off everybody there as well. I mean, you just got to be able to combat that a little bit better, especially when you got the spike, you've got the crow, and you're just going to thrive so much at long range. You should be able to keep him out of the way regardless. However, they managed to take the first set. Backyard Bowl coming up next, and they're going to be wanting to close this one out. FA Verified are going to want to take it to Shooting Star, which is something you don't hear too often. You'd expect them to be sweeping this quite comfortably, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised. I'm honestly surprised. I feel like FA Verified were my favorites coming into this match. I mean, I told you during the break as well, I expected this one to be a 2-0 sweep for FA Verified. Now I'm even considering if Pharmacy Centers might 2-0 sweep this one. So, you know, just looking at their playstyle, I feel like it could apply so well to Brawl Ball as well, even specifically to Backyard Bowl. So I'm a little bit scared for FA Verified. I feel like their run might come to an end in this qualifier just in 2 sets. Obviously, they have something to say about that, and we'll have to see how they perform here on Backyard Bowl. But we are loading up, loading in, and getting to the second set now, and we have a Jackie, which is going to be either really defensive or really offensive on the side of Pharmacy Senders, or maybe just dead, which is more what it looks to be so far.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. They've got the max speed eventually, but at this point, he's already aggressed too far. They've just given the ball to Angel Boy, which is a bit surprising. Maybe could have done something by passing it to the left. Ruby eventually going to be able to grab this ball once more, though. Some nest eggs laying on the floor as well, in case they do manage to push this one out. And they're going to have to back up, respect the Jackie a bit. The Ra now getting hit quite heavily, though, and Salavi going to be marked up once more, too. And that counter crush doing a lot of work, but just not enough to get Ruby down a couple more shots than he would have done. But, I mean, it's a really, really tough matchup for Pharmacy Senders.
Yeah, it's not the best matchup on their hands. I mean, I think that if things started off a little bit differently and Salavi didn't end up going that aggressive early on, it could have just stood a little bit better. But surely this is going to be a goal here. Angel Boy able to get the ball away, but yeah, they're able to score anyways. A bit of a waste of a super there as well, but honestly at that point worth the attempt, as it was getting a little bit desperate. And so far, FA Verified shining in Brawl. Well, that slow is devastating for Pharmacy Senders. FA Verified able to find so much value, but the goal anyways. Oh my goodness, Salavi strikes again, Trav.
I have no clue how that even happened, to be honest with you. I literally have no clue how that managed to sneak through, because he didn't die until after the ball had already gone past him, so I'm not sure how that snuck through. Angel Boy with the super,
pulled,
though.
Right?
I don't know, he's still got his super and he hasn't done anything, so I don't think so.
I don't know. But it happened. That's what I do know. However, what also happened is that pretty much Team Wipe coming true in favor of FA Verified, looking to put an end to Salavi's pump-off session.
Yeah, Ruby got his super as well, though, and this is going to be a tough overtime for Pharmacy Senders unless they can get speed out of this position prior to it. Salavi falling very low, and he knows he's not going to be able to do much against the spike, and Ruby's loving every single second of it. He gets those supers off, gets him slowed down. Lara, the only one standing, and I don't think they can even do the damage required. So he just passes the ball away, just keeping control. Fede has his super, but no gadgets left remaining on him. Ruby still got one in the locker, though, and Jaime is out of nest eggs too. Angel Boy going to fall down. Miss super from Lara as well to not assist with the heal. Salavi pulls in. Fede doesn't go down, though, and this is going to be a game for FA Verified, as they take it to 1-0 in Brawl.
Jackie on basketball, just nah. It's for me, it's a no. Honestly, I think it can work, but I think off the start, when you're not playing with another tank that can go as aggressively as you from the get-go, because usually on something like basketball, when you play tanks, the best moment is the initial spawn or respawn, right? Because you're so close to the ball, so close to the enemy goal, and you can close the gap really quickly. But here, it was just him pushing, and, you know, he got hit by, like, a crow slow, and everyone was focusing him. So it got shut down so quickly. So with a comp like that, you have to play it startively, which is kind of not ideal either, because you're giving away so much map control. So for me, it just doesn't really work with a max. I would have enjoyed this more if there was, like, a buzz with it, I think, instead of the max. I still feel like it's a very one-dimensional comp, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they could have had that initial burst of aggression, which here was just two on one side of their team, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I feel like the initial burst is probably what they needed as well. I mean, they just really couldn't get it going. At no point in the game, other than the little bit of luck that they had at the start, getting that shot through, they couldn't really get anything going. Tanks galore now, though, and this might work out a bit better.
Yeah, well, so far, the aggression is paying off for FA Verified. Salavi, oh, Lara is able to get the ball in his hands. The kill on Hamey comes through as well, and I think that is going to shut down that aggression, which honestly should have been a goal from FA Verified.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, Fede's getting all the super he needs here. He gets it. The stun's not there, and he goes forward. Fede is going to... I'm not sure how he even did that. It must have been in a little bit of a rush. Poor, but regardless, it's still going to be 0-0, and Pharmacy Senders live to fight another day.
Oh my! This is where Pharmacy Senders are going to pop off, isn't it? After those two chokes, I see it happening, Trav. I see it happening, and another missed opportunity this time around for Pharmacy Senders. But with things going so fast, you can't really blame those mistakes. Salavi, he tried, but that was a bit of a rushed play once more. But that's the thing as well, you know. This is such a nervous way of playing Brawl Stars because everything is so quick and every mistake is gonna get punished so badly that those mistakes are bound to happen. Another stun connects from Salavi. He's been on point on those pulls in and throughout, and look at that, that's a goal.
Oh wow, Salavi is just the one making the plays at this point. I mean, it's a team contribution, but overall he is the one doing the big plays. Fede's got his super, so does Jaime. This could be a really nice synergy play here. He does it. The stun is interrupted from Frank. Fede still going, but the stun from Salavi is going to help his teammate out. Angel Boy's still up top as well. They do have a stun available in spawn, so they're not going to aggress just yet, and Angel Boy has his super as well. They need a goal in 30 seconds, and it looks like they're going to decline them a bit.
Alright, this is another chance here for Pharmacy Centers to just seal the deal, and Salavi gonna be grabbing it as he is able to score it just barely on that left corner. And Pharmacy Centers, they get a match point in hand now. And honestly, there's not a lot of things that I've seen that scared me as much as Salavi on that buzz. He is insane on that brawler.
He's looking a bit dangerous. He's looking very, very dangerous on that. Match point to Pharmacy Senders is going to be the next game, or can FA Verify bring it back and take it to Shooting Star? That is the question we need answering. Honestly, Pharmacy Senders just look too good to compete in that one. They had all the opportunities, but then again, you can't forget about that early misplay from Fede on that buzz, which would have evened out and took it to overtime, or near enough at least.
Yeah, no, absolutely so. They've been looking really strong, Pharmacy Senders, and FA Verified, I mean, they look a lot better here in Brawl than in Gem Grab earlier, but now, you know, I don't know, I feel like that momentum shift combined with the confidence gain on Salavi and Pharmacy Senders as a whole, man, that's gonna be quite something. And not only the momentum shift gonna be impacting FA Verified, but also those chokes. They had two, I don't want to say free goals, but they had two very much open goals that they missed. And it happens, especially when, you know, there's so much nervosity and so much action and it's all so fast-paced. You're going to make some mechanical mistakes, but those hurt a lot and they are going to be hurting your morale so much. So we'll see how they're able to deal with that as we get to match point now in favor of Pharmacy Senders.
I'm liking the Pharmacy Senders match here. They've gone the B, clearly predicting the tanks and also the Bell along with it, but I just don't know how it's going to fare against that Piper when the map does start to get broken up. Jaime taken very low as well. Nest Egg placed in the mid, but Angel Boy's going to connect a shot as well. That A just getting attemptedly curveball down. Doesn't seem to be working so far, though. Jaime not going to get hit by that homemade recipe as Salavi does throw it out, but he lives to fight another day. I mean, it's just a bit of a stalemate at this point. They're just peeking walls, going low, peeking walls again, but now Angel Boy's making the move.
Alright, super coming true from the Piper. I'm going to be opening up those walls a bit more. The B pick not really paying off for Fede, probably expecting some of those tanks, you know, the hybrids that you mentioned earlier. Definitely wise as a decision, I would say, as we wouldn't be surprised to see some tanks coming back, especially that Buzz, but now it's very much just that long-range fight on both sides, and it seems like it's going just a little bit more in favor of Pharmacy Senders so far. Salavi looking to get that pinch with Lara, and Lara is going to be the one to connect it, pick up that kill, but so far not any openings big enough for Pharmacy Senders to score.
Yeah, just give him passive and just making sure they keep control, and that's the right way to go about this. They've got 40 seconds left. They're going to try and minimize the time for a comeback if they do manage to get this goal. Jaime connects that mark, though, which can go a long way if they do start to push out. Now a little bit of a side switch going on as they try to get the B over there onto that spike and get the Bell on the Crow, which I'm not sure if that's even a favorable matchup at that, to be honest with you. The Bell should be able to take some good shots off. Jaime, though, pushing up a little bit, and a little overextension from Angel Boy is going to be taken down. Salavi, though, can he get the shots off and get the jump forward? He's not yet. He gets the trade, and FE Verified are going to be just taking it a little bit slow and eventually relieving the pressure.
Yeah, a chance now to take back some of that map control, but look at those nest eggs on the left-hand side. And that's the slow coming from Broby. Angel Ball quick to capitalize, and now there's the opportunity to score it. Salavi goes down, he had the charge shot, he had the closure here for Pharmacy Centers to take this match, but not able to get it through just yet. Might be able to just come back, respawn, and do it now. Actually gonna go for the jump in for that extra speed. Hamey gonna walk into another trap, so low HP. Broby is going for the jump in, gets shut down, but not before hitting poison all three members from Pharmacy Centers, and yet both teams haven't found any opportunities to close things out just yet. Those supers might be what makes the difference in scoring or not.
Looking dangerous here for FA Verified. They start to close down the gap. Salavi has it, but the super's thrown out prior to him getting the ball. They can't do anything about it. Lara uses his as well. Now Jaime's on a break for it. Can he get this in? It's looking likely. He takes the shot, and it does trickle in. Complete turnaround, and we're heading to the third set.
My words, it looked like Pharmacy Centers were about to close this one out, but we will be seeing some bounty action. And here, it's a bit more of a mystery of who is going to be shining. I mean, I have to say, I think Pharmacy Centers looked better in that game with those long-range brawlers for the most part. And even though they lost it, it was more due to some ball mismanagement, you know, going for some pass at unfortunate moments, and all that sort of stuff, and not really being able to score it and not being able to kill. I feel like they were better at the killing bit. And in bounty, that's really what matters.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't manage to force the ball, and they had multiple opportunities, I will say, as well, and they kept the control so well, but they over-aggressed just before overtime. They relieved the pressure, and then when they got it back again, it just didn't work out, and it completely flipped on its head. Bounty, though, I mean, I'm not sure who to rule in favor of here, because, you know, they both showed really good signs of long-range brawls. Obviously, they had the advantage in that one because they had the Piper versus Bell matchup, so I'm not sure if that's going to affect it and whether FA Verified, when they get on the Piper, if they do, because we've been seeing quite a lot of Max and some tanks here, which is probably going to be the forced meta by at least one of these teams. Yeah,
no, absolutely so. I mean, we've seen Pharmacy Centers. Maybe they want to go for the buzz. I feel like this is the option. I mean, it's what worked the best for them, to be fair. So this might be the opportunity to do so when pressure is going to be peaking. It could be those moments where you go for your comfort picks as well, you know? You want to make sure you are in ground that you are familiar with and comfortable with, and sometimes that can make all the difference. Even though it's not on paper the best pick, if you can play it at its best, it can do the job. So excited about this third set between Pharmacy Centers and FA Verified. A closer match than I expected initially, but maybe not for the reasons I expected, to be fair. Let's go see how this goes down, as we do have a bit of a hybrid on FA Verified, whereas Pharmacy Centers are going with the Poco, Pam, and Max.
So I'm liking these picks from FA Verified, but the start and the early star goes to Pharmacy Centers here. Angel Boy got ahead going towards him, able to take it down just in time. But not much progression from it. They've got a bit of control of the mid. But I mean, in terms of kills, nothing's come from it yet. The B should start popping off sometime soon. The connections from both him and also the B. But Angel Boy should be taken down here, and that he is slow available from Fede, and he can get the follow-up shot off as well onto the Poco, which he does. Jaime missing a couple of shots on a slow Pam could come back to cost them. But for now, they have the lead.
3 stars in their favor. That dickhead is going to be problematic, as it claims that kill onto Angel Boy, and 4 stars now in favor of FA Verified. It's looking good for them. They want to get that match point. And any signs of momentum from Pharmacy Centers. Angel Boy is going to dash that shot with dodge that shot with a dash, but so far not really able to capitalize on that more aggressive position they were able to procure themselves. Hamey does fall. That's big kill from Salavi, but dealing with Fede is going to be the next challenge. Slow comes through. Salavi is so low HP. Surely they take him down, but he's still alive for now. Will be shut down eventually, and that's a sweet 8-star lead in favor of FA Verified.
The power of the B against a Poco and a Pam just really showing here, and Jaime and Bruby are also doing their part too. That Tickhead not going to do too much. Turret thrown up high, but Solavi isn't going to be in a position where he can make too much use of it. This is looking like it's going to be going to match point for FA Verified, and that it is. Pharmacy Senders now in a really tough position. Looking at the last game, they were on top of the world. Like one goal off taking the entire match, and now it's just completely flipped on its head as Verified take this game and therefore take the match point.
What a story so far it has been for those two teams today. We said it before the match started, right? We wouldn't really expect those teams to make it to the semifinals in the first place. Making it to the grand finals is even more of an achievement, whereas maybe it could be a nice opening for Clash, to be honest, that would rather face those guys than something like SK. So yeah, what makes some teams sad is going to make some other teams very much happy. But now match point in the hands of FA Verified, and this could be quite a reverse sweep. As you mentioned, one goal away, and one goal that was so close from coming true earlier for Pharmacy Senders, and this entire match could be turned around.
Yeah, match point to FA Verified now, and I really like the comp they brought out there. I like the B. And obviously, they paired it with the Piper and Tick to keep that hybrid level of comp. I mean, they would have probably struggled quite a bit if they hadn't have gone for those tanks, so they must have been fairly confident, like a good 75% sure they were going to go that comp, because that could have really come back and backfired if they hadn't have got it right, because the B's going to struggle against that neutral comp that the majority of teams have been playing. But I mean, it's just going to be tough to see who's going to play what. I can imagine one of them still going to play that tankier comp, and this time, it is going to be FA Verified, and they're going to commit fully to it, and Pharmacy Senders are going to play the tank, the comp, should I say, that struggles really hard against it.
Alright, Tickhead is going to connect onto Jaime and claim the kill. Maybe a bit of a misplay there from FA Verified, but it's only a single star advantage. Fade, though, is in a bit of a tough position. Will get shut down and give an extra 4 stars there to... an extra 3 stars, rather, to Pharmacy Senders, giving them pretty sweet 6-star lead. Now as Jaime gets taken out next, and Pharmacy Senders was a bit of a statement so far in this game, not willing to end their run just yet.
Yeah, still got a lot of time, and he catches that wall really well to take down the Ra. The ball follows it up, and the blue... Oh my, the ball comes back again, and Jaime is out swinging with BB.
My goodness, that was a beautiful play from Jaime, and Pharmacy Senders now in trouble once more. Jaime is getting a little bit greedy there, does get punished for it, but won't go down just yet. Healing station set up for Bruby's survival. He's so low HP, does go down in the end. Salavi almost does go down too. But in the end, it's actually tied up, and Blue Star still in the hands of FA Verified. But they have to be careful. 1 kill, and this game could be giving Pharmacy Senders their own match point.
I'm surprised they're not going as passive as early on, because they surely can sit behind walls here and just tank the shots all day long. The ball follows up on once more. Jaime is very low, though. Bruby is also just as low. The homemade recipe going, but Jaime tanks it and says no, but they take it last second with the 1-star lead, and we're seeing a double match point.
My goodness, what a game that was. Felt like Jaime had done the job with that bubble and that triple kill. But apparently that wasn't quite enough, as Pharmacy Senders, they pick up that trade towards the end, which was just 1 star in their favor. If it wasn't 1 star in their favor, that blue star would have been on the side of FA Verified and secured them the match. Now double match point, and it could be either one of the greatest comebacks of this season or one of the greatest shutdowns.
Yeah, double match point though, double match point. Honestly, I'm not sure who can really come out on top, but it's rare you see a team lose with that comp against the Piper, the Nanny, and the Tick. It's very, very rare, and it was literally just Jaime. His teammates were not putting in the work required to take home the win, and I think that's what really cost them. Jaime was doing near enough everything by himself, picking up the triple kill and spawn when he's all alone. He's picking up kill after kill after kill, and his teammates were just not there to support him when it mattered. Towards the end, they take a late loss And Pharmacy Senders able to win against a comp that does counter them. That kind of puts them in a very good position to be able to out-mind game them here.
Definitely so, definitely so. I mean, mentally as well, it's going to be, you know, something they need to deal with. As it felt like they had crossed the finish line and did everything they can. Definitely going to be a frustrating loss, particularly for Hamey as well, that had an insane game on that BB. But that's part of it. You got to deal with those moments and have a clean and fresh mindset getting into the next game, and in this case, the last game as well. Double match point, one game, gonna be deciding the fate of both those teams. One going to the grand finals to face Clash up next, the other one going home in 3rd/4th place. Who is it gonna be? Guys, tell us in chat what you think is gonna happen in this final game. Let's find out as we move into this last game. We have the standard comp from Pharmacy Senders and same stuff from FA Verified, just that little extra hybrid element, having the beat coming in play on Fayday as a counter tank measure. Could be a bit of a disadvantage in a matchup like this, but there's only going to be one way to find it out.
Early lead though for Pharmacy Senders. Ruby committed way too hard for that first blue star there. He's coming back round for Fede, but it is going to avoid him and connect with Jaime. That baits out a gadget and also giving them another kill to top it off. Fede all alone does get one, manages to juke Angel Boy for now. Can he get the double? He can. He does manage to get it as the super baits out that return to Sender. Fede is doing a wonderful job. Eventually goes down though, but he has closed that deficit.
Alright, still 3 stars in favor of Pharmacy Senders. That return to Sender is going to be painful for Hamey, but not enough to claim a kill. And FA Verified went from being in the best position to now being in big-time danger. Ruby will be forced to use his last rat to counter that peep. But value is still there as we get into the last 30 seconds. And FA Verified need to find a kill, potentially even 2 kills. Yeah, they need 2 kills unless they find Salavi.
Mid wall's going to be broken, leaving Fede very susceptible, and that he is. As Salavi picks another one up, making it 12-7. Last 15 seconds, Jaime's going to join him back in the spawn. Fede once more coming up, and he looks like he might have just given up at this point as Salavi secures another. Pharmacy Senders are going to the finals to face AC Milan Clash.
What a match that was. The final game of the final set is what it took to set those teams apart. But Pharmacy Senders will be going home with this match. And honestly, it deserved one. An amazing performance from those guys throughout this entire match. Almost had it in 2 sets in Brawl. Choked towards the end, but did make things right here in Bounty. So, a great performance from them. Very much deserved, in my opinion. FA Verified played great as well, but Pharmacy Senders just really shine here. Let's give a look at our bracket to see how this day went until we move on to the grand finals of this 3rd and final Open Qualifier. If we look at the runs for both Clash and Pharmacy Senders that are going to be our 2 finalists here, Clash, they take down FA Tornado fairly comfortably. I'm assuming Big Clan and Aurora were quite straightforward matchups for them as well. So far, no huge challenges for Clash just yet. Pharmacy Senders, a bit of a tougher run as they won narrowly against FA Verified, narrowly against Mood Gaming, and also narrowly against Old Skulls. We watched that earlier. Wasn't the most convincing performance either, but it seemed like they learned from their mistakes and got better and better throughout this bracket to finally reach an all-time high here in the grand finals against AC Milan Clash. We'll see how that goes down just in a couple of minutes as we give the players time for a quick break. We'll see you guys right after for the grand finals. Welcome back, guys, for what you guys were looking forward to the entire day, the finals of this Open Qualifier, the last Open Qualifier as well. I'm honestly kind of all over the place point-wise, who has how many. I mean, I remember from the top of my head that Tribe and SK were tied up at 27, so they were in a pretty good spot. What's happening, Trav? You're nodding with your hand.
Clash,
Did I say something
Clash
wrong?
and SK are at the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
Clash and SK, not Tribe. Sorry, Clash and SK were tied on the top. You were right. We had a lot of El Clasicos. It was just a typo in my head. So, not sure. I think Pharmacy Centers probably can't qualify anymore. Clash pretty much ensured that qualification. We're already getting in game, but Edgar and Bronx bands, Meg and Ash bands, Nuts and Bolts, back and Bowl, Hot Potato, and here we start with Nuts and Bolts, and actually already a bot from Pharmacy Centers. Just like that.
That was absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say that was absolutely beautiful casting. That's some of the best casting I've ever heard, to be honest. How fast you spoke then was just absolutely inspiring. But yeah, first bot going to Pharmacy Centers, and Clash looking to be able to defend it quite well because they've got the wall down. Now the spike defense should be able to wrap it up quite nicely. Good 21% damage done though. They've got a good amount of mid control with this triple tank. However, Spike should eventually be able to put quite a good amount of work into Lava. Going to run into the zone to try and secure that damage onto Chaos, but doesn't manage to get it just yet. Lara though has a few in hand. Super from EA going to be getting a good amount of damage, but they're just dropping all of these bolts, and only 3 going to be in the bank if they can pick this one up and get it back, and that's near enough tied out by Pharmacy Senders.
Alright, bot pushing once more. Only 3 bolts in the pocket of AC Milan Clash and getting into the turret preparation phase. That's not even all that much. Stun from Angel Boy, that's going to be some extra damage on the safe. Bot does get cleared up rather effectively, but look at that, they're going all in. Stun comes through from Lara, that's going to be some massive damage, especially considering there's just that 1 bolt lead for Clash, and in a retake situation, it's probably not going to be the fattest bot they get on their side anyways.
Yeah,
if they even get
I'm not sure. I was saying, I'm not so hard, to be honest. They could have easily got it in mid there. They had all-out control with 3 tanks.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to get down in time. And now they're going to be forced to defend. Triple Tank should be able to do quite a good job, so therefore he's going to have to do some lovely work of cleaning these up here, because the only one with some nice damage. He does bait Angel Boy out, and he should fall down, but Chaos needs to get up too to deal with damage. Super onto Angel Boy, but they're just getting no damage at all. They're tanking it all day long. Yoshi going to be doing it now, but now the damage comes raining through. Are they going to be able to do enough? It's not looking likely as the tanks are there, but now it comes through, and they just about get it. And AC Milan Clash with a huge comeback and dealing 83% damage on their push to come back and take this first game.
Man, that was a sick comeback from AC Milan Clash. I would tend to agree with you. I don't think Pharmacy Centers should have gone all in, as they were 1 bolt behind and had full-on control and already had like 50% damage lead, you know? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think it was missed the opportunity here, but also in the end, sometimes you make the wrong decisions. Happened there. I think they lost 2 players there in the first place that got really pushed on by Clash. So it was kind of like, I'm alone. I'm not going to be holding mid alone anyways. But respawns would probably have been there in time. It's hard to say. There's a lot of factors to take into account in those decisions, and in the end, it did not pay off. But it was close enough. Let's be honest. They were facing Clash. It was close enough, losing by what, 6% or something along those lines. You could do a lot worse than that, but in the end, what matters are the wins, and the win has been granted to AC Milan Clash. And it was that comp as well. I feel like it was kind of an even matchup, and sure, there were some nice counters to the tanks, but on the other hand, there were some nice counters to the Sprout with those tanks, so it was rather balanced to that extent.
Yeah, I mean, my Pharmacy Centers needs to take this set because it's the volatile one. It's the one that Clash are going to be, you know, a bit more shaky on because of how volatile the game mode can be in general. And then you're going to be following up with Brawl Ball and Heist directly after that. 2 game modes that Clash are going to thrive on. You need to be getting these early wins. Buzz coming in once more from Pharmacy Centers. They're going to be taking the Sprout and the Stew off of the Clash comp though and playing it themselves. And once more, a really good start for them here. He's going to get the takedown on the right-hand side, though, but Guille cannot push that just yet. Another first push for Pharmacy Centers coming out.
Yeah, we do see the last couple of bolts going to Clash, so that's going to be very nice for their bolt economy, but obviously have to deal with that defense first. The Sprout Wall is going to be there to make the bot just walk a little bit around that Ike, taking full damage in the meantime and getting those clean defense. But Angel Boy is going in for the stun. Connects on Guille, is going to take a bolt with him as well. And finding quite a bit of value out of that one super and one gadget. Let's see how Clash's retake is, because if things stay like this, they're probably not even going to get the second bout, actually.
Yeah, they managed to get that down, though, and Yoshi may be going for all three. They've just completely walled everything off. And now you're not going to be able to get too much control back just because of that. Their Bolt is in their hands, to be honest. They're going to be able to get it, but they've got this Sprout Wall defense that can really do a nice job. 5 bolts in the hands of Clash, though, and only 1 Pharmacy Senders. It looks like he's contemplating going aggressive, but turns back on Yoshi and should take him down, but a good trade should allow a bit more of an easier retake, but he does need to get up, try and get there as fast as he can, because they have dealt 50% and they're only at a 4 deficit.
Alright, 15 seconds left. And bolt-wise, it's still rather close, but it does look like Clash should be able to get that final bot. They'll still have to deal a lot of damage. That's gonna be the tricky part of it now. But that bot is gonna get to level 10, and it should be doable here. They do have the Sprout in defense as well. And since it's the first defense, it means that surely he has some gadgets left to deal with it. So, a bit of a nightmare situation here. Oh, that's a miss gadget. And that Phil is probably going to be costing them this set, as they end up dropping down that Ike all the way down to 0 HP. And AC Milan Clash pick up the game and set. Not sure what happened there, but there was definitely some wild stuff happening around that Sprout Wall and that Siege bot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a really good first one pick up for AC Milan Clash. A few little things here and there that could have gone differently and affected the game, but overall, they did take it. It's the wins that matter, and Brawl Ball's up next, which we know is going to be a Clash favorited game mode. And I mean, are we ever going to rule against them in this game mode when they've just taken, I won't say dominantly, because they did lose a few bots. They drew one in there as well. They were dominated for the majority of it, but they controlled the game enough to get those wins. And I think that's kind of the name of the game in Brawl Ball. You've got to be able to control the larger map.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Pharmacy Senders, we've seen their nervous plays, their aggression, you know, especially with the buzz, didn't pay off here in Siege, but honestly, they got 4 bots out of 6, right? And lost. That's really sad. That feels like old school Siege, you know? That feels like old school Siege. Maybe in Brawl Ball it's gonna work better. I mean, they've shown some real strength in that mode as well, but we have to keep in mind they're facing AC Milan Clash, and they are pretty much the kings of Brawl Ball at this point. Let's see how this goes down, as we have a lot of aggression from Clash early on. Might end up getting punished as Chaos does get taken out. Trait not quite there, and that early aggression getting punished big time by Pharmacy Senders.
Yeah, Sprout seems to be the one doing a lot of the punishing right now. Chaos, though, is going to be trying to aggress. That Angel Boy gets the pickup and a wall break. He does miss the goal, though, and Guille is able to get the ball out a little bit. A pickup from Lenane allows a shot from Guille to go through and connect onto Lara. And now, over to his left-hand side, Chaos is going to be trying to aggress Solavi, just push him out a little bit further. More wall breaks coming in, though, and that's really going to be favouring the Piper, but synergy in that comes lacking. It's going to be really affecting the Sprout's ability.
Alright. Back to a bit more of a stalemate. Lollipop drop is gonna expire. And now Pharmacy Senders have an opportunity. Perhaps if they can punish that aggression from Chaos. Does get punished indeed. Now they're looking for the follow-up, but with the man advantage, it's the time to push forward. Try to get some more control. However, they're quite slow at it so far.
Yeah, we're seeing Gear just trying to juke this over the right-hand side now. Gets the life plant down, but that's going to provide him with some good heals. Puts one down of his own. But gets super, so that's going to shut off that lane for a little bit. Just get the 1,000 heal from it. Letting Chaos now getting a pickup, but also getting traded out. And now they're just kind of collapsing on Angel Boy. Only Lenane left standing. He's doing quite a good job of maintaining this now. Nest Egg down. And just trying to peek a few shots down that side. Try to get a few bounces off down there if they do stack it. But Chaos is already back up and ready to fight once more, but taken instantly low by the Sprout and taken out by Salavi.
Yeah, going for a super. Lara able to deal with it quite nicely, but in the end gets the pickup with the help of Angel Boy and relieve a little bit of pressure. So far, Pharmacy Centers have been able to hold on their own here in Brawl Ball, and now goes down, and things could start to get interesting, but overtime certainly is going to be interesting as well. If we even get to it, Ikeos barely saves it as it was about to be cornered in. But now, overtime is going to be the next challenge for some of those brawlers that can tend to be a bit more awkward on this stage of the game. Salavi, there's nothing he can do in that position, is there?
Nope, not at all. Ball's being passed up. Super available from Guille. Can he slot it in? He's going for it, but not picked up. I mean, should I say not the goal being picked up by Angel Boy there. Could have put a wall down to make it a bit more secure, but choosing to use it now. 30 seconds still on the clock, so still a good portion of overtime left, and Lara does have his super, which is another thing to be said for Lenar, who doesn't. Trying to work for it now, though, to be able to get this ball out of the corner. They do have a super and another wall being placed down. Chaos just doing his best job of juking, and some aggression coming in. The pinch is there. The wall is there as well, but Chaos is able to grab it with the Invisi-Heal. He's stolen it from right under his feet, and that is going to be the game if he chooses to put it in the goal, I will say, because we know how much Clash like a bit of a BM, and it is going to be going on to match point.
All right, lovely stuff from Clash, able to get things to match point here. I mean, overall, just a good performance from Clash, you know, as we'd expect. And Pharmacy Centers, I mean, it was once again a close game. Every game of Siege was hella close as well, but they can't close any of them out, and that's problematic because you need that closure against teams like Clash. If you don't take what they give you, that's all you were about to get in the first place. So it's a bit of a tough situation, right? Because this is looking like it's going to be a 4-0 sweep in games, and every single one of those games were some of the closest games we've had all day, which is kind of wild in a way.
Yeah, I mean, this is match point coming up next, and Clash are going to be the ones taking it. So with a little bit of luck on the side, they should be able to. Triple tank is going to be the luck required, I'd imagine. But I mean, they are against Bell and Spike, so can't rule anything out yet. Salavi just missing a few shots onto Lenane. Chaos pushing it quite aggressively, going for the pinch in now, and getting a hit is going to get them. The Supers, Guille secures it. He needs to heal up a little bit, and the Nest Egg is going to reject him of that ability. So now, Pharmacy Senders are the ones on the aggressive, and they have Supers galore in their hands. Chaos just trying to take some damage, get his super along the way, and then make use of it that way. But Lenane can't really do anything against his Spike, and that's really going to cost them.
Alright, push coming forward, and oh, Guille gets the ball, he gets it on the other side, and surely that's going to put an end to that push. However, Pharmacy Centers not giving up just yet. Oh, Guille was the prediction. That was nasty. That was nasty, because there's no way he saw him before he pressed that super button, right? He knew. No,
I don't think so. Yeah. I think it was just a really good prediction. He's got his super now as well.
And yeah, he's gonna score with that. Okay, yeah. Just showing off at this point. Just showing off at this point. That triple tank just working out great for Clash. Let's see if they can capitalize on it furthermore. It's looking a little complicated. Lena almost makes a play there, but didn't have time to land that super, I believe. And now we end up seeing another goal denied.
Oh dear. I'm pretty sure he could have just shot that. Like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but he probably could have just shot that in and not risked anything. He went for the walk, and it really did cost him here. Lenane's got his super still. Can't do anything with it because he can't get in a vicinity close enough to be able to make value out of it. Salavi has his super, throws it directly onto Guille. Chaos is covering the goal, however, though, but that slow is doing wonders for Pharmacy Senders. Lenane needs to be able to dash, but he can't do anything. He grabs the ball, gets another super, and he cleans up as well. Lara is the only one left standing. and he does take down Lenar. But, oh, what's happening in this game?
I don't know, man. They're just so close from scoring every time. But every time, somehow Clash make it work. And in the prettiest ways as well. And look at that. Here, just gonna be self-passing there. That could even be another goal. I mean, that one is not going anywhere. But Lena going for it almost gets quite a beautiful goal to close it out. But time runs out, and so do the chances from Pharmacy Sanders. AC Milan Clash are gonna be the champions of this qualifier, securing quite a lot of extra points and cash. Points that they didn't really need anymore, I'm pretty sure. You know, making it to the final every single time does give you a nice heads up. But yeah, that was quite a game. And so many opportunities for Pharmacy Sanders, man. I'm just heartbroken for them because if you just look at the scores, it looks like they got absolutely trashed on. Every game was so intense and so close, but every game just couldn't be closed out by them, and that's just really sad. But I think they can be proud of their performance today. I think they've achieved a lot of stuff, and I think they show some great signs of promise as well. For the future. Let's give a look at our final bracket of today. And Trav, I'll give you the honor of running us through that one.
Yeah, well, we'll take a little bit of a run that our finalists did have, and a few upsets along the way as well. Clash taking out Aurora, then Big Clan, FA Tornado, and made it to their finals. But a couple of notable things over that side of the bracket. FA Tornado did sweep Reply Totem and Tribe Gaming consecutively, and then they had the sweep turned on them as they did face Clash. Pharmacy Senders, however, did come up against Old Schools first, which we did watch. Then Mood Gaming able to take that down 2-1 there as well. And FA Verified also 2-1. So 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and then 2-0 in the finals. They had a bit of a tough run, but made it there nonetheless. And that is going to get them some sweet cash.
All right, that is gonna be getting us close to the end of this qualifier. I mean, no more games. We might have some extra information for you guys in a bit. But Clash have had quite a season so far. Definitely going to be locking in that first place, right? They won 2 of the qualifiers, made it to second place in the third one. I mean, those guys have been on the grind, and the grind has been paying off. Great stuff on their end. I'm sure SK is in a pretty sweet spot as well. The question is, who takes third place? I'm honestly not so sure, but we'll be figuring that out in just a second once we get to the bracket. Do you have any predictions, Trav? I genuinely have no clue.
I think it's between Blood Diamond and Navi, I want to say. From previous weeks.
That seems possible. I mean, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out in just about a second anyways. But yeah, Clash winning this one. Not dropping a single set today, by the way, just if I can add that extra information. That is the Clash that we expect to see at this point. And I mean, I think for me, the 2, or if I had to give out 3 main, you know, summaries or like points to summarize this day, I would say 1, obviously Clash domination, not dropping a single set, barely dropping any games in the first place. Secondly, the run from Pharmacy Senders, going all the way to the grand finals, despite every single match they've had being a 2-1 all the way until the finals, where everything was so close, but they couldn't win a single game against Clash. And then FA Tornado taking down both Reply Totem and Tribe Gaming EU in a huge upset, absolutely huge as well. So quite a good day for Brawl Stars, I would say, with some exciting matches, some exciting results, and some nice underdog stories, although in the end it is Clash supremacy.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expect at this point, if they can make it through their side of the bracket, which was incredibly tough. They had, you know, Tribe, Totem, FA Tornado over there, Big as well. They had a really, really tough side of the bracket. If they can make it that far without even dropping a set, you're probably expecting them to be able to take the final in a 2-0 fashion. And as you said, you've got to give some kind of credit to Pharmacy Senders there in the final, because, you know, if a few of them games went a little bit differently, it could have been going to the final set, and that's a huge leap from the 4-0 that it was to being final set. It's a completely different story, so they definitely deserve all the praise they get for coming second.
Absolutely. So the leaderboards are ready. Let's go see who is gonna be joining Clash and SK to the playoffs. Clash was 42 points going to the playoffs in first seed, SK Gaming in second seed, and actually Pharmacy Sanders with their run today are just a point ahead of Blood Diamond and Na'Vi. And that means that they will be going to the playoffs. And I think that makes today even more important for them because they're going to the playoffs, baby.
Yeah, I mean, here we did have a little bit of an explanation written down to us in a little group chat. They were Qdeletu, who we saw a couple of weeks ago being in the semi-finals, I do believe, so they made a really good run in the first one. Then they proceeded to make 2 roster changes, which loses them 5 points due to the rule book. If you do make at least 2 roster changes during the season, you lose 5 points. And then they renamed themselves Pharmacy Senders, so they would have had 22 points, minus the 2 roster changes, takes them down to 17 points as the 5 points deduction.
Wow, that's a lot of math, but I think I got the hang of it. So basically, as a main summary, because of them merging and doing an extra roster change, they had some points deduced, but they still kept some points from their previous performances, giving them a total of 17 points right now, which is pretty fortunate for them, not gonna lie, and unfortunate for Blood Diamond, but sometimes it is like that. And I mean, they got penalized for the roster changes. Well, I mean, still beautiful story on their end, being able to make it all the way to the finals here and take second place in this last qualifier of this season. But talking about last qualifiers, is actually the last chance qualifier. That is gonna be next week on Thursday. Make sure you guys register for that. Even if you don't think you stand a chance, well, sometimes you do, and that's going to be your chance to maybe make it all the way to the playoffs. No prize pool, but a ticket straight up to the playoffs. No points, no of that nonsense. You go to the playoffs if you win the qualifier. I mean, that sounds pretty sweet to me. With that being said, that is going to be the end of our show for today. NA is going to be tomorrow. If you guys are hungry for some more Brawl Masters action, I advise you guys tune in for the 3rd qualifier in that region and watch our colleagues kill it there as well. With that being said, Trav, thank you so much for joining me, or for joining each other once more. Been lovely to work with you this season again. Looking forward to the last chance qualifiers next week, and from all of us, we wish you the best of days.